Hey, everybody. I hope everything's going to work right. I
I
guess.
love your VHS style there.
Oh, well, it's just probably because it's so dark in here.
Yeah, I mean I like it. I legit like it.
Yeah,
It's
well,
good.
Uh, hopefully this isn't too much of a problem. Like everything is going to work all right. I wish I could make it so that the windows in Discord were a little bit
I,
closer together.
I love how I'm just so tiny, and I'm going to be even tinier when the games are live. I'm the Hobbit on stream here.
So as you know, I'm a big Phantasy Star Online fan. It's really the only online game that I've spent a significant amount of time in my life, I guess. I mean, I played a lot of Halo co-op, and I guess I did play some uh, friendly versus Gears of War for a while. But this is the only game that I've spent hundreds of hours on, the Dreamcast version. Um, but of course, I'm excited about PSO2, and I have played the beta a lot this weekend. Uh,
Apparently, there's a high pitched sound coming from something.
um, I hope it's not me.
Likewise.
Yeah, I hope not either. I've turned mine really far down.
I don't hear anything from
Let me.
anyone.
It's really annoying. Hang on. I hear the loud beep. Hang on. Let me see if I turn.
I
Tell
don't
me if
hear
it goes away
anything
if I
coming
do
to
this.
me that way. Oh yeah, I unmuted the stream and I hear it. It sounds like some sort of interference, like in your mixer or something.
Oh.
Oh, did you fix it? Apparently it's gone. What'd you do? Oh, apparently it went away.
I bet you that makes it come back.
Well,
This makes it come back. It's back. Okay, interesting.
what was it?
It's back. It's like it must be my microphone.
Is there a loose connection or something?
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Let's see this.
Oh, is it because you're not using headphones?
Let's see if that does anything. I can hear it. Well, that's not cool. I wonder if I. Hmm.
What's different from last week that's causing that? Oh, you're using your H6. Oh, apparently it's gone again.
Tell me if it comes back.
Yeah, I hear it. I unmuted the stream so I can hear it.
What the heck?
Well, I got noise. I got noise when I used the when I used to use or attempt to use the H4 for as a microphone. With the even with the USB for some reason, I got some sort of interference. So I haven't really used that as my stream microphone in a long time. I don't know why that happened, but you know. Apparently, it's going to come back. Oh, there it is.
There it is. So, what the heck? Because I mean, this was not a problem the other day.
The other day for what?
I mean, it wasn't a problem the last time I did this.
Oh, I didn't know you did that
Well,
before.
that's how I streamed last time too.
Oh, I didn't realize it.
I don't think it's gonna help if I jiggle it.
I mean, you never know. Do you have one of those ground loop isolators?
I do. It should be going through here. Let's see if that helps it. Hang on.
I don't know if that's the problem because that's like different from the that's different from the buzz that I got with the GBA consolizer.
Hang on. Let me see if I can. If it helps.
Someone's saying overall volume. Is what we're trying to fix. It has something to do with Coury's microphone.
Yeah, Oh, wait, it's fixed. Is it back?
No, it's still there. I mean, I guess it's possible it could be a bad cable.
Yes.
It's an interesting sound though. Like it's not a buzz, you know. Usually, I feel like you would hear a buzz.
Buzz. Yes.
Not a high pitched whine. Oh, well, it went away. It went away. Oh. Guess we. So while Coury is doing something else, I've never had a good sense of like what play online is in terms of an online game. Like I've been under the impression is it all like the actual like going out and battling stuff? Is it all like instanced stuff? Like the actual world is not like massively multiplayer. Is that correct?
So for at least the first Phantasy Star Online, the single player and multiplayer experience is relatively the same. If you play single player, it's the same maps, the same stages, same bosses. There's just a couple differences that will occur if you're playing multiplayer, and there's additional content that they did add, particularly in PSO Episode 2. They did, towards the end, Sega started adding really kind of extra areas and content that could only be downloaded and experienced online. But that being said, you could easily still play PSO. You could even do it locally, split screen. I think it's the only version that offers split screen multiplayer. I can't remember if
the GameCube, but there's two versions on GameCube, right?
There's two. Yes, there's technically two versions. There's PSO Episode 1 and 2, and PSO Episode 1 and 2 Plus. And then there's also the card
Am I
game,
hearing that?
Which is PSO Episode 3.
Whoa!
But
now it's worse.
It's super extreme now. Also, I saw Joe ask why am I 600 feet away from the camera. It's because it's on top of my TV, on top of my TV. Sorry, I'm trying to get a better webcam situation in this room, but this is what I got right now.
I definitely hope the feedback isn't on my end.
I mean, it shouldn't be. I mean, it seems to whenever Coury unplugs his mic, is any other audio like routed through the H6?
Can you hear me? Do you hear it now? Is it gone now?
Yes, it's gone now.
It's totally gone now.
Yes.
But you can hear me.
Yes. I can hear you.
Interesting.
Everything is good. What'd you do?
Well, I'm just using my H4n, which is like plugged in, but maybe
I mean, why don't you use the H4n for this? Because you're going to use the H6.
I was going to.
Regular
I
recording.
was going to, but I could not find my correct. I could not find my power adapter for it, and I don't want to like tear this one that I already have like out of everything, which I might have to do. But let me just try something real quick. Okay. Let me just try something.
I'm just being quiet. CS4
I know.
That's the reason why I'm not saying much.
This is not something I was prepared to deal with. But let's see if this helps though. Hang on.
Someone was asking where's Sandy. Sandy is stayed at my parents' house this past week. She's coming back tomorrow. I asked my parents if they could give her a vacation for a week because she was really bored with me working on the.
Let me try one more thing, and does not fix it.
The first episode of the documentary series, and so they gave her a vacation for a week while I crunched on it this week. Did not finish. I'm very close. Probably going to launch it midweek or late week. At this point, like I'm kind of going to cool down and sort of coast to the finish line. Just to make sure that it's polished and what I want it to be.
Is it gone or is it back?
I'll rush the release. It sounds good.
Hang on. It's gone. Okay.
Yeah, what'd you do?
Well, I just plugged my Zoom into something else.
A different power supply.
Yes.
So the power supply you were plugging it into was bad.
I'm only muffled because I'm way back here.
Where's Steve Kulov to talk about power supplies when you need them?
Well, it's powered by USB. It should sound okay now. How does it sound now?
Maybe the USB power's bad. Maybe it's unclean.
Maybe. Now it sounds great. Holy cow.
What kind of port is it? A micro USB on the H6?
No, it's just a regular USB. It's not the cable. The cable seems to be fine. Seems to be like the thing that it was plugged into.
Huh. It might be a little overkill, but I bought for a couple of things. I bought like the official Raspberry Pi power adapter because as far as I can tell, it seems to be really high quality, and it did improve like the noise that I got out of the GBA consolizer before I knew about the ground loop isolator. So like I kind of just feel like it's. I mean, I don't really know. I'm not Steve Kulov, but I think it seems to be a pretty like the official Raspberry Pi power supply seems to be a really good micro USB power supply.
Is that a donation that I see in the corner there?
Oh, there was a donation from Ben Brody asking Joe Redifer if he preferred dogs or cats.
Well, I'm assuming he said cats.
What if he likes both?
I did not catch if he answered it, but Joe does perhaps strike me as a cat person. I used to Joe Ben Brody donated to us to ask you cats or dogs. He prefers cats, but he likes both. I used to like before, like not necessarily before the internet, but before cats took over the internet, like I generally assumed dogs were more popular than cats, and maybe that's just because I'm a dog person, but like nowadays I just assume people I assume you're a cat person before I assume you're a dog person.
Let's do that.
I used to feel like I was in a majority, and now I feel like I'm a minority with being the dog person.
Try now. You're really tiny. I just switched over to the game.
Yeah, well, not only am I really tiny, but on my TV I've got like 144p. So
yeah,
I'm like 10p resolution right now or something. I see a blue smudge that I think is my shirt.
Yeah. All right.
So, is there any functionality to the GameCube version that like is in any way a downgrade from the Dreamcast, or is like
it's
the
not a
functionality
downgrade. It's just it's probably the best console version because
Well, I mean, the reason
Yes.
I was asking was because I mean, like the GameCube, I just don't know much about the broadband adapter. Like, it's not something that I ever had, and it just wasn't widely supported. So I just don't know a lot about it.
yeah.
Oh, we got it. We got 2 reals from Ed Carlos World.
Thank you.
Thank you. Saying I love this game.
If anybody
Greetings
wants to
from Brazil.
join, and you have the ability to join shit serve, which I assume is how it's supposed to be pronounced, SCHTSERV. You can do all the stuff that they say on there. You can join the server, and we're in the GC. What is it? Terra something. It's like
Should there be game audio?
Oh yes.
Apparently, the overall volume is pretty low. I don't know if you want to do anything about that.
It's Terra Luna, by the way.
So, is there any character creator, or does
Yes.
like the class you want to play just look like a set thing?
No, you can very much create your own character. And that was one of the nice things about Phantasy Star Online, kind of leading that, so long ago. You had a lot of MMOs that were kind of coming onto the scene at the time. Primarily, I can think of like EverQuest and, not too long after Star Wars Galaxies. And they had a lot of character creation, but the actual fact that PSO had a slider and you could actually go and very fine-tune parts of your character really kind of was revolutionary for its time. And the fact that, it was on console first rather than on PC was, really something that just was not done.
Well, not only that, but it was outside of the cost of the game. It was free. Version 1 at least was.
But there's
free.
it's not like you've got like an
Let's go down
entire
to the planet.
world.
Let's just go down to Forest 1 and just start doing stuff. So we're not just like running around the ship.
But I mean, I assume it's free because when you go into like gameplay, it's an instanced area, right?
Oh, you're already down here.
Yes.
It's not that the whole world. I mean, if the whole world had everyone in it from the server, then it would, I assume it would have at the time been a pay game.
Is that better, Joe? Let's see if I cranked up the gain a little bit. Oh, you know what it probably is. I can probably do this.
Hey, I just want to give a shout out to Kayak,
that's better.
who is
Or is that
in the
too
chat
loud now?
and joined, helps run SCHT serve, and big shout out to them. Thank you for, hosting us and doing this. I played off and on the server on Dreamcast, GameCube, and Blueburst. So if you don't even have the game, you can totally get Blueburst, which in my opinion actually is the best version, but you have to play on PC. So if you play games on PC, then by all means, check out the server and check out Blueburst, because everything is right there for you and you just sign up and go. But if you do have a GameCube, or if you have a Dreamcast, and all Dreamcast at least have the dial-up modem. But if you do have the broadband adapter for either system, it's very easy to get in and get on these games, and there's still people playing, and it's very much a joy to play still.
Coury Co-Star said that apparently whatever you did made something quieter again. I don't know what. If it was you,
I'm
or
quiet
everything.
now, or I sound okay?
I don't know. Also, there was 2 reals from Sega Soldier saying, that a channel is good when they play Sega games. we do like to play our Sega games. Sometimes people accuse us of doing too much Nintendo stuff, but my response to that is like, Nintendo has been making consoles for longer than anyone else is still making consoles, so there's just by nature like more Nintendo stuff to look at.
Oh, you got a Booma's right arm.
Oh, you guys started. Whoops.
Yeah. Come on down to Forest 1.
This
Okay.
this forest area. Oh, apparently it was when Coury touched his microphone and said this might make it better, and he got quieter. I think we're good. We're good.
Am I good, or do I need to go louder?
Seven Kurgand is saying you're a bit quiet.
See if I can turn it up a little bit. Hang on.
Okay.
I mean, I just heard that come back. I mean, it sounded like we're relatively balanced, but it's hard to tell listening to myself.
I agree. Sega
Okay, I bet
Soldier,
it's
agree.
great now.
No, regretfully,
probably pretty
Joe,
good.
you can't pause. At least on online. On offline, you can.
Game audio. I'm doing my best here. This is
Yeah,
like,
I don't know if I've ever seen an online game where you pause it.
Yeah. Okay, now it's extremely great. Perfect.
Ow.
Extremely great. Never change anything. This forest area, like, for some reason, all it makes me think of is you did that comparison in the Framemeister Alternatives episode where you showed that 480p looked really, really bad on the GBS 8200.
Oh, and I use this?
Yeah. Like, the colors were just all really bad. I think it was... Is it 480p? It does support 480p, right?
Yes, it does have progressive scan.
I'm doing it. I'm playing with the OSSC though right now.
Well, yeah, but I mean...
And with
but,
OS,
yeah, but 480p, 480p looks amazing with it.
yeah, I mean, that's what I'm playing right now.
But the GBS 8200, this forest with a character that might look just like the character you're playing now. It was just used for that comparison. I remember that. I really want to check out the custom firmware GBS 8200 sometime.
Yeah,
that sounds like an interesting thing, because I've always kind of wanted to like hook it up to a VGA monitor just as an option. I mean, I think it would be pretty decent. Although, I can't remember if I mentioned this last week. While I was trying to send like a junk signal, or not a junk signal, but something that would confuse a.
Just kill all three of them.
I wanted to send a signal to a PC CRT that would confuse it, so I hooked up the OSSC with a HDMI to VGA adapter and sent some stuff. And for one, I discovered that it accepted the 3x laced mode, which was interesting. But I also just noticed like how freaking good just like regular like 4x or 5x looked on it. It looked amazing. That is still an episode I want to do, is like, PC CRTs as a PVM alternative. So you all have like gone into this instance.
Well,
So
no,
what-
this is just exploring the planet. Just think of it. You ever played Diablo? Yeah, you played Diablo.
I played Diablo 3.
I mean, there is a story that you can do by doing missions, but the meat of the game is just going down and playing essentially what is like the same very like set of levels like over and over again, just making your character stronger.
So are you
like I know that one of the reasons you like
enemy
Final
encounters,
Fantasy.
are they like scripted? Like, do they always happen when you enter a certain area?
There's several. I think there's like 3 different variations of each area, maybe. It's like, or they spawn you somewhere different. I mean, I don't remember.
So
exactly.
there is random. So the map is the same. However, like you can kind of see the gates here, and the areas on the map in which you can spawn, or where you come in is different. So it's not procedurally generated, but the layout can change on the map every time you start a new game. So it just kind of, it depends. It also kind of depends when you create a character and you create your character name, you get a color group, and that color group kind of also, it basically makes the loot layout of what can drop or what is likely to drop, and it also kind of helps with, I don't want to say determine the map layout, but it can influence it.
Now, how does the structure of this game compare to, like, I know there's like a PSP game. Like, is it the same?
No, those are all based on like Phantasy Star Universe,
What's Phantasy Star Universe?
which was like the kind of the follow-up.
But
It was not considered as to be nearly as good.
It's essentially this similar gameplay, similar like.
It seems
art
to have more of a
style
story
and stuff.
focus.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't talk about Phantasy Star Universe much because I did not like it. I played it a little bit on the 360,
Yeah.
and it was like, it wasn't PSO, and I was still playing on Blue Burst at the time, and much rather, play that.
So what? I mean, what have they done with Phantasy Star Online 2? Like, how?
What have they
Like,
done?
is it-
Well, I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, I can, like, after playing this for a little bit, I should switch over. I'll switch over to PSO2 because it definitely has the same feel to it, but it's a lot crazier. And I like it. It seems to be. You can jump, you move a lot faster, you can carry tons of different weapon sets and loadouts. You can switch to it any time.
Yeah, I saw that you can change classes, which is nice, because for a long time that was like, I was only like a Final Fantasy thing. For reference of anyone in the chat, like my only real like online RPG experience is Final Fantasy 11 and 14. And so that was what I was used to, being able to change jobs. But like you gotta make a new character, and most.
Well, you would in this too. I mean, there's not so much like classes in this. I mean, there's like 3 classes, but they're just like, it breaks down to like hunters, just like people that carry guns, and magic users.
So, does Phantasy Star Online 2's map, like you said that there's some random elements to how the map is laid out? Like, is Phantasy Star Online 2 that way
It
as
seems
well?
to be, but I mean, I've not played it enough to get a feel for exactly what's going on. I mean, it's a lot more chaotic.
Do either of you know if it's random or sort of more preset or what?
This is a healing spell right here. Rest to level 1.
All right, I already have it.
Oh, okay.
I'll take it, I guess.
I have not. Honestly, I haven't paid attention to, because PSO2 is like PSO1 on crazy steroids with eye candy levels over 9,000.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much stuff going on in the game. And
Is
it's
it
really
just like every modern RPG where like so many numbers flying that you don't even.
Oh my god, yeah.
You can't even keep track. Like, there's no point even watching the numbers.
Yeah, you're not thinking about the numbers.
We were doing
how
an
big
urgent
they are.
quest, and there was a PSE burst that happened, and it like makes all the enemies like just continually spawn, and it's kind of like a farming time to farm up gear, XP, and all kinds of crazy stuff. Well, you can kind of chain that, and we got like a cross chain or something like that, where like it went on for 2 minutes, and this was like an urgent quest, and like all these, you know, dark energy beings are spawning in, and we're just like killing them like crazy, and they keep coming, and it was just like, wow, this is like just crazy. I mean, you kind of have to experience. I mean, we'll show it, I guess, if we're going to do PSO2 in a little bit.
Yeah.
But it really is.
Of course, I mean, the game's going to be free to play, so like, I mean,
after you buy it. But I mean,
Oh, you do have to buy it.
Oh yeah. I mean.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure it's gonna be full price.
I
mean, the thing is
free to download.
PSO in Japan has been out since 2012. I mean, there is that much content worth of stuff. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they end up bringing over, because there's a lot of very Japan-centric content that came out over the years as well.
Several people are saying the PSO2 is free to own.
It's free to play. I've never heard any of the Japanese. I've never heard any of my friends who played through VPN on the Japanese servers having to pay for anything. Like, it's completely free to play.
Yeah, I mean, in the modern sense of the term, free to play means you don't have to even pay to own it, to download it and play it.
Correct. Think like, you know, Fortnite or any of those others.
Right.
Like, you just download, start playing, and for PSO2, all the microtransactions are cosmetic. There's no things that give you an edge. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, it's impressive that they can justify bringing the game over finally, like, and that be their only way to make money on it. I mean, that's
yeah. So I didn't realize it was going to be free, like
free.
Yeah.
Yeah, which that's like in some ways, like, it's just like, well, if I'm going to get into it, I want to be able to like put it on my shelf.
That's why I got the Japanese copy. Like, I got like episode 4 or whatever.
I mean, I will definitely download it and give it a try when it comes out, but I don't know like how much I'm going to like really commit to it, because obviously I'm pretty all in on Final Fantasy 14. By all in, I mean I'm an expansion behind.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is much different. I mean, there's definitely a story to PSO2. I have no idea how extensive it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's not nearly as story focused as Final Fantasy 11 and 14 probably are.
Well, especially 14. 14 is very story driven, because you can't even access the areas that are added to each expansion unless you've like completed the previous story.
And Final Fantasy, it's a persistent world. This this is not a persistent world. It's basically like you said, going into instances.
Correct. Final Fantasy 11, everywhere is persistent, except boss arenas, I think. But I'm trying to remember if you actually you might have to wait for people to leave a boss arena. I think boss arenas might be in. I kind of forget. I kind of think they are. But like everything else is totally persistent, like dungeons and everything. Final Fantasy 14, the world, the towns, and the fields are persistent. You know, everyone, you know, on the server is in that area. That exists in that area. They are there. You can see them. You can interact with them. But dungeons are the more kind of these linear. Did we lose someone on Discord?
They lost your video.
It was me.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep, I'm back.
All right.
But yeah, in dungeons in Final Fantasy 14, dungeons are like, there's not really any structure to the dungeons in Final Fantasy 11. It's mostly like, you know, try to find the boss room and mostly hope that you can avoid enemies. Or like sometimes you might have a quest where you have to find something that's hidden there. But like in 14, they're much more structured. They're kind of a linear thing with these like kind of planned encounters. You know, it's supposed to take, 30 minutes to an hour maybe to finish the dungeon. And you have to do it with a group. Like you can't do it solo. It like, you can get into a party builder where it just like, as soon as it can put together a party that is properly balanced, it automatically just puts you in with a group and, you just kind of go on your merry way. It's kind of, I appreciate how easy it is, but there's a grumpy old man that misses the strife of Final Fantasy 11, and having to like put the parties together yourself and things like that, Final Fantasy 11 was very much, I see you guys are like kind of running around in this world and going here to there and fighting these enemies. Final Fantasy 11, I don't know if this is the way that the game was intended to be played, but this is how people played it. This was the reality of how people played it. Generally, you level up in certain areas by camping. So you make your party of 6, and you would go out to whatever was the de facto place that people at your level range level up. Anyone here who's played Final Fantasy 11 knows about Valkurm Dunes and Kufum Island. Those were the first two big level up areas that you'd go to. And you just like pick a cozy spot that, no other party is holed up in. And you just stand there, and then you have one character who you call your puller, and they go out and they grab an enemy, they bring it back to the party, they lure it back, and you kill it. Then they go get another one, and you rinse and repeat. And all you're doing is just trying to gain levels. Whereas like Final Fantasy 14, you do things to level up. There's no point in just like camping and luring enemies to you. You do dungeons and do activity to get that. Oh, we got $5 from Ben Brody.
Thank you.
Saying $100 million, but you have to run your own bed and breakfast. And if it ever gets an overall Yelp rating of less than 3.8 stars, you lose everything.
Sounds really stressful.
Yeah, I don't know if I want that kind of stress in my life.
Yeah, speaking of keyboard, I'm actually playing on
You're not gonna be able to see it
the
very well.
GameCube ASCII keyboard controller.
Yep, there it is. It's real. I always wanted one, even though I never had this game. I wanted.
Yeah, I have not played this one nearly as much as I played the Dreamcast one. I mean, I played version 1 on the Dreamcast to level 100, probably something like close to 400 hours, and then when version 2 came out, I played for about a month, got to like level 104 or something before I just ended up stopping.
You know, saying when you said 400 hours, that.
Oh, you guys already go through the warp? The warp is on. We need to.
You know, it's crazy, but like I look at some of my characters on here, and I've got like one with over 700 hours, and another with 4, and another like it's just going through, you know, multiple characters with 100+ hours. It kind of does make me think like, wow, I really played this game a lot back then, and I know, you know, a lot of us, played the Dreamcast version and loved it, but when I heard the GameCube version was coming out, I kind of stopped and got ready to play it. And I'm glad I did, because Episode 2, I think, is much better than Episode 1. And is like, I really like, obviously have a lot of nostalgia for Episode 1, but when you've run through Episode 1 like a million times, Episode 2 is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And the just, my gosh, the central control area with the seaside, the mountain area, and the jungle, and that music. Oh my, that's I could spend hours just farming, and I did. I loved that area of this game.
Speaking of how many hours, you know, Monster the other week, and I was like starting out like, man, I still don't really know if Monster Hunter is for me. You know, I thought Monster Hunter World is supposed to be the most accessible one, and you know, I still just don't know if it's for me based on what I've played so far. But I looked it up on how long to beat, and like I just brought it up here again, and I just laughed out loud looking at the numbers on this. Like the high end of like how long to beat on completionists is like, you know, 400 hours, 609 hours, 1,000 hours, 3,600 hours. I mean, it's so over the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, I
Wait,
have no idea.
where are you at? We gotta find you.
I have no idea what my Final Fantasy 14 is at this point, or what my Final Fantasy 11 was. I mean, I'm sure it was quite a lot. I mean, you know, the difference with those games too, especially 11, like there were kind of, I feel like with a game like this, there's not a whole lot of reason necessarily to go idle for a long time, probably. But like Final Fantasy 11, like going idle was the name of the game. There was a lot of waiting in there. And you know, sometimes, like for example, you could mark items on your character for sale if you didn't want to use the auction house for certain things.
We're coming to get you, Labeler.
And,
Sorry.
Right now we're coming to find you. I don't know.
And you could, you know, so sometimes I would leave my character on overnight. Like I would go like mine a bunch of or something. And I'd go like stand out in the middle of the city and
that's fine.
Sell or overnight. You know, so the hours that you have in Final Fantasy 11 are not that accurate.
Yeah, a lot of people in chat asking about the different versions. You know, if you've got a version of PSO, definitely play it. I like both the GameCube version and Blueburst. Honestly, Blueburst is probably going to be your best bet if you're just kind of getting into it. If you play on PC, or if you're okay playing on PC. If you know you want to stick with consoles, then I definitely say get the GameCube version. Just because it has the most options, it has the most content. Regretfully, for whatever reason, the original OG Xbox version did not get all the bonus content that the GameCube did. The GameCube definitely received the most love from Sega as far as online content.
Yeah, and that's also
in
cool
addition,
that-
you can do the split screen multiplayer if you have people come over.
Exactly.
And it just, between, you've got episode 1 and 2 and the extra content online, where if you pick up, version 2 on the Dreamcast, you're just playing through episode 1. You don't have, in my opinion, the great episode 2.
So, is the game really hard if you try to solo it?
No. Well, in my opinion, no. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean it's not. It's just it's time consuming.
Right.
Like any Eastern focused MMO, it's a grind. So if you're used to other, Eastern developed MMOs, it's the same deal. I mean, PSO in many ways is like the grandfather to most, action-based RPGs we know today.
Yeah.
My sort of conundrum with Final Fantasy 14 right now is I've been playing Summoner in that game for the past while, but when the latest expansion came out last year, they gave Summoner a significant overhaul, and I haven't played a lot of the game since that came out, and I'm still working on the previous expansion. And I'm pretty casual with my Final Fantasy 14 play. I don't want to do like a terribly complicated job. And it definitely sounds like the changes they made to Summoner are interesting, but it's like I'm like level 63 and there's like so much I gotta relearn. And it's like, I don't know if I want to do that. So right now I'm kind of looking at Red Mage, because Red Mage was a new job with the previous expansion, and what's cool about Red Mage is it actually starts you out at level 50. Like you don't have to go from 1 on up. I don't know if the jobs from Shadowbringers maybe even start higher. Maybe it's 60. I might have to look into that actually. To be honest, I forget what the new jobs are. I don't know if there's just a I can't remember if they introduced a regular damage dealer job with Shadowbringers. I forget. I can't even remember. But anyway, I'm trying out Red Mage. It seems pretty fun. Like it's kind of got a little bit of, like, you kind of have to do this thing where you have to cast white magic and black magic, like you've got this meter, and if they get too far out of balance, then I guess that's bad for some reason. And like encourages you to like, you have this attack where you like you like attack with your sword and then jump way back, and then you can start casting magic, and then when you've built up enough magical energy, your sword attacks are strengthened, so then you have another attack to like lunge in, and you can do a bunch of combos. It seems pretty fun, but like with Summoner, it sounds kind of cool because like they've done things where they kind of encourage you to switch summons a little more frequently, but it seems like that job was like so like relatively simple, and I didn't have to stress too much about like my role in the party and how I played it. If I was playing it badly or whatever, like there weren't a lot of expectations. But now I'm kind of like, I don't know, it might be getting kind of complicated. I've heard that Red Mage is considered a pretty simple class to play, so and it seems fun. So I'm experimenting with that, but I might look into other options too. I just don't know if I want to continue with Summoner.
We should be able to go to the caves now, right?
Yes, we can go to the caves.
Yeah, let's do like a little bit of caves, and then I guess let's switch over to 2. Flavor, you wouldn't mind if we switch over to PSO2 for a little bit after this, do you?
Yeah, I don't mind at all. I'm fine.
Okay, so Shadowbringers jobs do start at 60. I cannot think off the top of my head what they even are. I know there's Gunbreaker, which is Squall, basically. There's Gunbreaker, and what else was there? I can't even think what else there was. Dancer and Gunbreaker, was that it?
See, what I need is, hang on, let me see what techniques I got.
Where do you unlock Dancer?
Unlock the what?
I'm talking to people in the chat. I couldn't remember what the new jobs in the latest Final Fantasy 14 expansion were. It's Dancer and Gunbreaker.
What I used to always do is use the lightning attack that attacks everything in the whole radius, so that you get experience. You only get experience for enemies that you attack at least once. So if you get a magic that can attack several enemies at one time, it makes it so that you can get things. You get experience from everybody that way. Uh-oh. How do we revive?
Hold on, I'll use a moon atomizer.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, if Dancer starts at 60, I might at least unlock it, just see out of curiosity if it seems like a fun class to play. Just because like my summoner is at 63 and it's like, I don't want. I mean, I doubt it would take that long to level from 50 back up to 63, but I think my next story quest requires level 64.
Try these.
So,
if you played a little bit of Phantasy Star 2, those guys should look a little familiar to you.
These mantis-looking guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I need to get back to that. Like, I remember in that. Like, I wasn't too far in. You know, I spent a good bit of time grinding. I need to get back to it. I actually put it in my Mega SG. I'm looking at it right now. I put it in my Mega SG for a shot I got. So is Phantasy Star Online and Online 2 definitely in the same universe as the original quadrilogy?
I mean, not really. I mean, there's no mention of the original. I mean, there's like certain item and magic technique names.
Your Mercedes.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that is.
Well, there's no mention of the other of the.
No. But I mean, the last boss in Phantasy Star Online is Dark Falls. And it's like not even Dark Force; it's Dark Falls, which is interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Well, in my understanding was that it's supposed to be like, hundreds of years in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to break out the strategy guide, but I remember having a bit in the strategy guide. And doesn't it in the opening cutscene say that they're leaving the planet because like the planet was dying, and that's why they have 2 Pioneer ships going out?
Yeah, but I don't think they specifically say that it's the planets from the original.
I mean, Phantasy Star, as it is, like, I mean, just 3 takes place over thousands of years, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's weird because the way that things work out, 3 actually takes place after 4. I think that they don't want you to really think about that in the ending of 4, because the way that 4 happens, there's like references to. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, I guess, but there is references to the ship that Part 3 takes place on. Like, I mean, there actually is one in the 4th game. Like, it's just crash landed.
We got $5 from Koto-kun.
Thank
you very much. Says me and my friend are looking into Blue Burst now. He played a ton of PSO back in the day. Thanks for doing a side-by-side.
Yeah, Blue Burst adds episode 4. So it's the exact same thing as the GameCube, but with just even more content. And you don't have to mess around with, trying to get everything going on your console. It just, if you're fine playing on computer, you just download the client, go through everything that the server asks you to go through, and then off you're playing. Like, it's very, very, very straightforward.
Just like that.
What are the? I noticed in the forest area there were like red blobs everywhere on the ground. There's like blue blobs everywhere.
That's just the blood.
Yeah.
It doesn't really look like it comes out of the enemies.
It like kind of grows in place.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was guessing it was, but it's weird. Now, I mean, in terms of controls, how are you attacking your enemies? Like, do you have an auto attack for your basic attack at all?
No. You hit the button. So if you look in the lower right hand corner, you have the 3 buttons. Like those are shortcuts, but the A button, like they associate with like the B, A, and X buttons.
Oh.
So the center one, A, is like your basic attack. And you got to time it. You can't just jam the button or else you'll only attack once. But you have to time it so that you can do 3 attacks in a row. Like 1, 2.
So there's not like a visible cooldown, but you essentially have a cool. Oh, we got
But you can
hang on,
link it. What's that?
Ah!
What?
It faded. There was something.
I could bring up the Streamlabs.
Yeah, I lost it. I tried to pause it, and I'm using my TV interface, so maybe I can bring it back.
So try
yes.
There is timing to your attacks. Everything can be done in like 3 sequence burst. So you have your basic attack, your strong attack, and then your special attack. Some weapons have a special attack, but it has the least chance of hitting with that attack. And then your basic attack is the most likely to hit, but is going to do the least amount of damage. So what a lot of people would do is do a basic quick attack because it is the fastest. It's the fastest attack, and then followed up by 2 strong attacks as kind of a 3-set combo. Or if you had like a really, really unique weapon that maybe froze enemies or caused paralysis, or some fire, something, you do like a basic strong special attack with the last attack hopefully having the highest chance to land that special ability.
Nice. And I'm dead.
Okay, so the donation I missed earlier was from Jonathan Henson, $3. Thank you. Saying he just bought the I/O and blister USB boards for my Mister setup. Anyone have any experience with LLAPI boards such as blister or LL load? Have you experimented with 1 millisecond USB polling with my interface is in the way with
have you experimented with 1
boarded,
millisecond USB
with the regular
pulling?
USB board? Finally, what controllers do you use? That's a question that Coury would be better served to
Yeah,
answer.
I mean, I just use the 8BitDo M30, the one that came out that supports the Genesis Mini. It's a 2.4 gigahertz USB version, and I think it's great. Apparently, I think that Smoke Monster said that controller does support the fast polling for USB, which I have not enabled. Actually, I just updated mine because I ended up getting like a wireless adapter for it. I linked it to you the other day.
Oh yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
sure
yeah,
if
yeah.
you
So
ended up getting it or not.
I actually didn't.
It's only
I-
$10, and it works perfectly. I mean, you have to like change some info in a config file, but other than that, it's just like plug and play.
Yeah, well, I guess I actually kind of do need it because I didn't.
It's
I
really
didn't even-
convenient.
I didn't even think of that.
It annoys me the way that the Mister you plug the Ethernet into the front of it. I mean, it's nice to be able to get to that, and I mean, just to like plug things into it when you need to.
I've only updated it one time so far, but for some reason I don't remember plugging it into Ethernet. In my memory, I thought I did it wirelessly. Did I not? I guess I must have not.
Probably not. Hang on.
For some reason I assumed it. For some reason I assumed I did do it. we got 20 SEKs. I forget where
You're
that
poisoned.
comes from. From where?
I said, Coury's poisoned. He needs to use
Oh.
the.
Oh, antidote. Okay.
I thought you said Sweden. I forget where that is. We've gotten. Thank you from Velby. Saying $1,000, but you have to make a 2-hour card-off video.
I could probably do that. I feel
As long as it can be relatively casual. I mean, honestly, Coury is probably better equipped to do a 2-hour Karnov video than basically anyone else that exists.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, I could do the arcade version, the NES version, and then I would do, you can
and the
do
Tiger
all
Electronics version.
the game, yeah, and the Tiger Electronics version, and you could just do all the games that he has appeared in.
You need
there's
to start
probably,
using
like,
your
less than-
Karnov shirt in more videos.
I know.
Like I
The
know
thing
you
is,
said that it's like a little, it's a little short, but you're not gonna be able to tell in the video.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I want to see it.
I want to see this punk. A lot of people are asking what version we're playing. We are playing the GameCube version, and I think other people are answering for us at least.
that was Sweden. Karnov is a bad game that's not that bad.
Yeah.
That's what Karnov is.
Whoa, I had 1 HP. I didn't realize that.
I'm gonna hold 10.
What?
I only have 10 HP left. I'm somehow trying to survive.
Do you have any mono or dimates?
I believe they used all of them up, unfortunately.
You can always telepipe back to the ship and get more.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. How far are we from the end of the cave?
One moment here. Trying to let you guys get hits on. There's a telepipe. Here, let me.
Does a USB Ethernet adapter on a Wii work for GameCube games with Nintendo?
I have a feeling it will, because I'm doing it without the adapter myself right now, and it's working perfectly fine. So,
Are you
I think
you're
so-
using
so-
the adapter, or
will just
are you?
simplify it.
So that's a software emulation of the broadband adapter through wireless, I guess, on your Wii.
That's actually what I'm using right now.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, one thing I've asked a couple of the, really good creators within the community, and it'd really be nice if someone could come up with, a third-party wireless adapter to go in the broadband slot to, give wireless broadband capability for the GameCube for people who do not have broadband adapters.
That would have been nice.
I mean, I think
Actually,
that's a great idea. It's hard to say. I mean, there's not a lot of. I mean, outside of this,
I mean,
in Double Dash.
people are very passionate about Double Dash.
I mean, I want to see 8-player Double Dash myself, so...
We did once. I was very fortunate a long time ago. I looked at what was going on with the Dreamcast, and at the time I was working for Funcoland, or Babbage's and then Funcoland. And so I looked at these things and like, things like broadband adapters and, monster cables and other like silly things like that, they're going to get really hard to find. And so I made it a point to just start collecting and hoarding these things. So I was very fortunate. All my friends played PSO, but we also did, big Double Dash, and doing the 16-player Double Dash was an incredible experience. And, it's something else. Like, we all, of course, you've got, Mario Kart 8 now, but back in the day, that was the, oh my gosh, like, we had 16 people playing Double Dash, and it was just crazy.
Is there some kind of limitation for the tracks when you play 16-player Double Dash?
Yes, I think it was... I don't think you did the circuit, if I remember. I think it was only the battle mode.
Oh, only... So you can't do any races.
You could do... The Grand Prix, I think, was up to 8. Oh, now I'm getting a little shaky, because that would have been back 04, 05? When did that come out? Gosh, I can't even remember now.
03.
I think it was late 03.
Yeah, it was November 03, actually.
Yeah. I remember I had 2 classes that were near my dorm when that came out. They were in buildings close to my dorm. I had on like 2 days of the week, and they were close enough, but there was like an hour in between them. So I would go back to my dorm and try to improve my time of the all cup tour in Double Dash. And so I did that for a while, where, like, between classes 2 days a week, I just did an all cup tour in Double Dash. That's probably my fondest memory of that game. I don't hold Double Dash in nearly as high esteem as a lot of people do these days.
I was always upset at Nintendo. Originally, they hinted that the bonus disc for Double Dash was going to be Mario Kart 64, like they did with the Ocarina of Time.
I don't remember.
And I remember them hinting at that. It was getting really excited. It's like, my gosh, we're going to be able to play, Mario Kart 64 on the GameCube, and we're going to be able to play Block Fort, and it's going to be amazing. And no, they dashed our dreams.
Instead, we get a demo of Sonic Heroes.
Yeah.
What's my favorite Mario Kart? Me and like my close group of friends, like, we are big into Mario Kart Wii, and one of them told me recently that he heard that apparently Mario Kart Wii is considered the least favorite by quite a few people.
Really?
So I don't know if that is like this widespread opinion that I didn't know about, or I don't know. But I love Mario Kart. Like, at first I tried to play it with the wheel, and I definitely hit a wall in terms of how well I could do with that. I switched to the just nunchuck and Wii remote, and did awesome. Like, I love Mario Kart Wii. Like, see, you say something about it feels off, and something about it feels perfect to me. Like, Double Dash is the one that feels a little off to me. Like, that one I have a really hard time just feeling at home with Double Dash. Mario Kart Wii, like, I just love the feel. Like, maybe you need to try a different vehicle in that game. No, I'm all about the Warrior bike. I like the Warrior bike in Mario Kart 8. I love how that feels. It's certainly not one of the fastest, but I love the feel of that car or that bike. And like the sort of the balance between the carts have like the 2 levels of boost sparks, and the bikes only have 1, but the bikes can also do boosts on straightaways, which was pretty cool.
Troy, I saw a donation from Speedy asking about what our opinion is of the analog DAC.
Ah, we just got the final units.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to do like a full episode on it though. Like
I think that there's going to be
enough to talk about to do like a full episode, but we'll at least do a mini on it.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as this documentary episode or the first documentary is done, I'm gonna start working on controller adapters 2, but we're also gonna shoot
first party controllers.
Yes,
too.
Exactly. First party controllers too. Sorry, I don't know why I said controller adapters. And we're gonna try and shoot 3 minis over time. I mean, like ideally
we've got several ideas for minis that we
died
pretty easily. We got a $5. Thank you for the love of the game.
Thank you.
I say, will there ever be a Mario Kart better than Crash Team Racing?
Them fighting words.
I've booted Crash Team Racing like on the PSIO. That's about the extent of my experience with it.
Yeah, the parts where the mouth doesn't move on the PSIO just cracks me up.
It seemed fine. It seemed perfectly playable.
It's a lot more technical than Mario Kart. Like, there's a specific rhythm to it that you have to activate your boost in order to do extremely well. And sometimes when I play online in the new one, Nitro Fueled, I find myself doing extremely well and I get to 2nd place, and then I find out that 1st place got to the finish line 25 seconds in front of me. So there's a big gap of like skill when you
There's
play
traps,
online.
hold on.
Oh crap.
Oh.
I forgot.
Something invisible.
Yep.
I'm not...
The androids can see traps, so I was trying to race up ahead of you.
I'm not very good at
Rats.
I'm not very good at it, but I've always had a soft spot for Chocobo racing.
Oh, awesome.
I never played it myself, actually. Chocobo racing, that is.
It's not a bad little game. It's kind of cool because like you can see what like the item boxes are just these like materia that you pick up for like that are spells, and you can. I think it was actually because it came out before Final Fantasy VIII, and I think it was the first. If I'm remembering right, I'm pretty sure it uses like the Firaga terminology, which was the first time that was used in America. I'm pretty sure that's what they call it in that game. And so like you can get like a fire materia, and you could either play or you could wait until you get another fire materia and then another. So you can do Fira or Firaga. You can do more powerful, bigger range version of the different spells, which is kind of a fun way to do it.
You guys are not lagging at all. Do you have any lag at all when you're playing this?
Sometimes, but it's very little.
Yeah, I noticed a little bit of lag myself.
Like, is it when you say lag? Are you saying like your character's response, or you see like the other characters like jumping about?
Just jumping around.
Yeah, okay. Because I assume your character can actually feel laggy. I don't know if any games other than Smash Brothers do that, where like everything is so synced up that like your like your character's local reaction is lagging. I don't know if anything but Smash Bros.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Sometimes there'll be rubber banding where like your character will catch up to where the server has you, but other than that.
Oh, we got $2 from Simply Enchanting Vids. I'm unclear if
They
there
meant to
was
send it
accidentally
twice.
2 donations. The second one was redacted. Or retracted. It was originally the same question. If you only meant to donate once, I believe you can fix. I believe that's something you can fix. People have done it before when they made a mistake, I think. Any opinions on Toe Jam and Earl back in the groove? I like it. It's it's not exactly like the most technically impressive game, but I played it 3-player and had a good time. I don't really know if I have like a lot of anything specific to say about it. But it was fun. Like just a very, true to the formula version of the game, but an update. A slight update on the.
There was just a
original
patch that
game
came out
formula.
for it.
Oh yeah.
On PS4. I don't know exactly what it did.
We played it on the Switch, which does have a lot of performance issues, but we had a fun time anyway. The visual style is a little lacking with like everything is like kind of almost these like paper cutouts. But it's fun.
Coury, we got Flynn's that wants to join.
Oh yeah, if you're in the game and you see the server, just the group is called MLiG and the password is stream STREAM.
Lowercase.
Yes, all lowercase.
Yes, anti-aliasing.
That's a good
Crazy
name.
GameCube keyboard controller.
Lynn is joining.
Yeah, anti-aliasing is a pretty great. I will agree.
Here, I'll put up
Ooh,
a telepipe
in like Flynn's.
so you can just come straight to us. I'm actually gonna get more moon atomizers real quick, just in case we need them.
Oh, is that a teleporter?
No, the moon atomizers are
revive.
if you die, it can res you. But you can only have 9, so I need more.
Flynn's level 32. Dang.
Not that it's a technical showpiece or anything, but it's like it is a better looking, like seeing it in the stream. It's a better looking game than I thought it was.
This is?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a great looking game, but like actually getting to see some of the environment stuff. Like, I mean,
right.
The areas are neat.
I think you would be more impressed with episode 2 and episode 4.
How is 4 the last one?
Yeah, but that's
a lot of episodes
on PC. But episode 2, once you get to like the VR stuff looks good, the first 2 test areas, but when you get to the central control area with the jungle and the beach, especially when you do the beach, it is just like I couldn't believe it. At button 2 or whenever when or 2001 or no 2002 when this came out, and episode 2 was just, it was like wow, it was even a better visual upgrade over what we were seeing from episode 1. And then you get into like the seabed, the last area, and it looks pretty good too, but the jungle and the seaside are just beautiful. It's one of those, like, if I want to show off how good the GameCube can look, especially over like a component cable over 480p, like I always like show people like the seaside on episode 2, obviously F-Zero, everyone shows F-Zero, and they should, but just the seaside and jungle in episode 2 of PSO is just beautiful. It is really, really nice.
Where'd the pipe go?
I came back. I didn't realize. Hold on, I'll put up a new one. One sec.
We got
You got 3 donations came in.
We got 3 back-to-back donations ranging from $4.99 to $5.00.
Wow.
that was quite a chain. Thank you, everyone. First one's from Scott Davis, saying, "Hey dudes, next gen transition question. If PS5 turns out to be fully backwards compatible, will you keep your PS4s, or will you trade in, sell, or depreciate the units?" I'm pretty sure both Coury and Coury just got a PS4 Pro, under the full understanding that PS5 is probably fully backwards compatible, just because, you were saying, like, you still feel like you're going to, even if, like...
Yeah, I'm in this weird place,
you still feel like you're going to play your PS4 games on a PlayStation.
Yeah, that's just... It's weird to some people, probably, but, I just rather play the game on whatever hardware they were designed for.
I'll be curious to see how well the backwards compatibility is
at
done.
least the first time, I guess.
I'm very impressed with Xbox 360 on the Xbox One, and I kind of suspect I'm going to play my Xbox One games on Xbox Series X in the future, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm very confident in Microsoft's backwards compatibility capability right now. PlayStation 5, we just don't know. But I'm just the way that I do things, I'm definitely going to leave my PS4 hooked up. I do expect I'm going to continue to use it, especially because I think storage is going to be an issue with the next gen systems. We don't know anything about external storage capability at this point. Whether they're going to have to copy games to the SSD to play them or whatever. And I've got every PS4 game I own installed on my PS4, like between the external drive and the internal drive. And I intend to keep it that way. So just because they're installed, I could see myself continuing to use the PS4 for that reason. But I'm definitely very interested to see how the backwards compatibility goes. And if it does go to interesting places, I could definitely see us doing backwards compatibility minis, or maybe even full episodes. It just depends. Probably minis, though, I would suspect, for backwards compatibility on the new systems when they come out.
When this doc series, like even the first episode is done, it's going to be such a huge...
Oh, it's going to be a big relief.
And then we can get back into, like, we can do a lot of other stuff, but then you'll have, like, the entire kind of flow of the series.
Right, it'll be established, so it'll be a lot easier to edit.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to be longer than this one, but I still hope it's going to be easier from this point forward. I've had to crunch really hard on it this week. But the next $4.99 was from Paul Sutton, who said PSO2, 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 PS02, PS0. I caught that. I don't know if you were testing me.
It's funny because he has a very similar situation as me. He played on the Dreamcast, and I've known Paul for years, and he played on the Dreamcast, and he says, much like me, he said this is the PSO2 is the first online game that I'm playing since then, essentially, like basically. And we were playing last night. We did some missions and stuff last night.
And then the third of those $5 donations was from Gray Fox, from Frank Yeager, saying, Gray Fox reporting in. Do you guys like the Dark Souls series? I've recently decided it's my favorite game of all time, overtaking Metal Gear Solid.
Wow.
I love Dark Souls. I originally played Demon's Souls, you know, not like right when it came out, but you know, I got it probably within the year it came out, I would say. And then, you know, Dark Souls, I remember when it came out, like a lot of the Demon's Souls hardcore were not as into Dark Souls, but I immediately loved Dark Souls, just because I really liked its world design, the you know, how everything is connected, whereas the more like, there were some connections between areas in Demon's Souls, but I just much preferred the world layout. The world layout of Demon's or Dark Souls 1 is so unbelievably good, and the way that everything just feels like it just fits together. Like, something that I think about a lot is, why does one game world like leave such an impression on me? Like, I can just visualize it in my head, like, oh, this path leads to here and there, and if I want to get back to this area, I go through here. Like, I don't know what the difference is, from a level design standpoint, but Dark Souls, I think, has the first one in particular has, I think, the best like Metroid-esque world that is in 3D that I've ever played. Like, it's just that world is so good. Dark Souls 2, comparatively a bit of a mess. It's okay, but the world design was just not that interesting to me. And Dark Souls 3, I thought was, to me, it was relatively equivalent to the first Dark Souls.
Ah, guys.
But the first was the first, so you know, it left a bigger impression. And I also like Bloodborne, and I have not played Sekiro yet. I want to, though. And I know that Coury...
Fantastic.
The keyword is yet, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I intend to play it. I very much intend to play it. I'm actually kind of somewhat shocked that it's, you know, that I still haven't gotten around to even getting it. But I fully intend to, because I love those. But I know Coury tried Bloodborne at some point last year, wasn't it? And,
yeah,
and you officially decided that it was not for you.
Yeah. I mean, I could see myself maybe giving another shot someday.
Or maybe another game from FromSoft.
Yeah.
Or maybe Neo.
Yeah.
So there was also a bunch of people are on a $5 rampage for some reason. We got from I Don't Know You Guy saying, did you use name gens to change your loot drops?
I don't know.
Is that,
I don't know what it means.
Are they
I don't
referring
think so.
to this, to PSO?
I'm assuming.
I assume so. Like does your name like have some sort of
Oh, I
Yes.
see. Like if you
That's-
want like a specific,
impact?
like a
That's what I was saying earlier
the
by
ID.
the color.
yeah.
When you, like on this character, being a Ray Castillo, it's a ranger, and I wanted to specialize really in using mechs or the machine guns, or you know, the rapid fire medium-ranged weapons, and the best color group for that is purple num, because that's the one that drops the most mechs. So I made this name. Sometimes you have to use capital letters, sometimes you have to add a space, but there is a name generator. I can't remember the website. I want to say it was Phantasy Star Universe before that became a game. But there was a website that had a name calculator, and you could put in names and see what group ID would come up when you generated that. So you knew, like, oh, did I want to try and get Redria, or did I want to try and get Greenel for rifles, or did I want, depending on the character that you had, you maybe wanted to, specialize that loot table. Now, it didn't really make that big of a difference because a lot of loot could be dropped in any of the groups, but there was, some groups that hey, I really like this weapon and I want a higher chance of seeing that weapon. So when I design a new character in the future, I would kind of want to plan for that. And I mean, if you really wanted to go crazy into that, you could. And I know there were people who did. I did on several of my characters, but it's not like, oh my god, it's game over if you don't set your name up perfectly for what you want.
There was another $5 from For the Love of the Game. Asking me what was my reaction to taking the elevator from the parish back to Firelink Shrine for the first time. I mean, that's definitely like the first moment in Dark Souls 1 where it's like, oh, I've been here before. Like, that's something that I live for in those, Metroid-esque world designs, and that some games do it more effectively than others, and it's hard to really, for me again, to grasp like what's the difference. But like that's the best part of that style of game is it's like that slow realization, like, wait, is this going back to it is, and you see how all these places are connected, and then it's like, oh my gosh, now I've got this great shortcut that I can take, like, to go
hit
across
the button
that
and
bridge,
went back to
to
the
then get
Pioneer.
into the forest, and then you start realizing that you can like go in all these different places.
That was a waste.
That boss battle made me think of the environment that you fight one of the bosses in Jet Force Gemini.
We can't get back, I don't think. I mean, we can't get back since it was in the boss encounter. So you guys.
Okay, yeah.
That's silly.
No, I was jamming on the button.
Yeah, same. That's why I get out too.
I didn't realize that I was.
It's just a habit when I die. I just want to skip very quickly.
Yeah. Since I'm hosting the room, I mean, does it open up these levels that I can just play them after, if I'm not online?
Yes, so as long as you hit, there is that big, like, totem, that energy totem. As long as you hit that energy totem, then you'll be able to unlock that area, if you will. And I will say this,
Did we
I
find
forgot
that?
to
Did we
mention
find
this
it in
earlier.
this?
If you are wanting to play PSO offline, I highly recommend the GameCube version, because you can't do that with Blueburst. I mean, obviously the private server's up, and if you've got online, definitely give that a try. But if you can't do that, then really the best option to experience the most is definitely the GameCube version.
We got $5 from someone on the voice call here. Good old Blade Blur says he wants in on the $5 train. Seriously, thanks though for having me over. Well, no problem at all.
Yeah, I was just.
Did you guys warp out of the boss fight? How'd you get out of the boss fight?
Me? I just mashed the button and I.
No, I mean, I'm talking about Flynn. I wonder how Flynn
Oh.
got out.
Oh, we took the teleporter out.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't realize you could leave in the middle of the boss fight.
So when exactly did Phantasy Star Online 2 come out in Japan?
2012.
Yeah,
So like
8 years ago.
yeah, what systems did it launch on?
PC.
Just PC. Was there
Yep.
like a? I mean, at that time, would there have been like a PS3 version?
I can't remember if they were working on a console version. I want to say they did, but like Blueburst, it was I know primarily PC.
For Love of the Game thinks that PSO2 is also on Vita, PS3, PS4.
It is.
So it is
probably
on Vita.
is.
I don't think 2 is on. Isn't the Vita version is like the Phantasy Star Nova? I think, which is like a spin-off.
We got $4.99. that was quite a streak. From I don't know you guys saying no love for the Xbox version. I know you can't take it online, but it does widescreen.
It
That's
does, but
interesting that you can't take it online.
The thing is you have to have a Xbox Live account. Yeah, how do we get to the boss? Can I just take this pipe to the boss?
No, you can go. I mean, you can go back to the boss, but I mean,
Yeah.
we defeated the boss, so it's just gonna.
Oh.
Wait, you have to have an Xbox Live account, but you can't play online?
Right, to even play, I think you have to have an Xbox Live account, and the thing is, like, now you can't even create one, so unless you already have an Xbox Live account, you can't even, it exists on the system, you can't even play it. But there is a hacked version that removes that.
Oh. I heard that you can't even play offline if you don't have an Xbox Live account.
Right.
Now, to be honest, I didn't even know there was an
Yes.
Xbox version because
Crazy.
no one talks about it.
I remember I played it for I think like 2 months, and I noticed that it wasn't getting the content that the GameCube was, and I looked at like all the items and weapons, all the bonus areas, all the like events that like the special events and the timed and themed events were all going to the GameCube, and like one went to Xbox, and they didn't put anything else on it. I'm like, why am I gonna play the Xbox version when I could play the GameCube? And you know, I was already paying for a Hunter license for the GameCube version, so why would I also pay for that and Xbox Live? I mean, I was already paying for Xbox Live, but it was kind of like the principle of that. Like, I'm already paying for online service, and then I'm paying Sega for it on GameCube, so
Right.
I gave up and just stayed on the GameCube.
We've got Frank Yeager. He's trying to break the chain and make $2. $2 is cool again. Asking about Kingsfield, the precursor to Souls. I played just the teensiest bit of that on the PSIO, and I will say that the aesthetic was interesting to me, but I didn't really play it long enough to get a sense of the gameplay. It was just kind of in the middle of production of that episode. I'm like, oh, this seems like an interesting game to boot up. And I think I used a clip from it in that episode. Definitely interested in sort of the texture of the world in that game. But outside that, I don't know a lot about how it played.
Do we want to play some 2 since it's almost 11?
What I would like to
what
do
is this?
is show off at least the seaside area on episode 2, so I can create a room. and go to the seaside, just so that you can kind of see the differences between like visual and graphical.
So
I mean, it's
Lisa-
not like
I wouldn't
a
be sure.
substantial jump, but it is pretty cool in my opinion.
So we should head back to the lobby.
Yes.
Okay.
I know how to do that at least.
What parts of Phantasy Star Online release on Dreamcast?
What do you mean?
Like, was it just episode 1 or what?
Episode 1 and episode 2.
Did release on Dreamcast?
Well, it's called
Did-
version 2 on.
Yeah, don't confuse version 2 with episode 2.
Right.
Version 2 just gives you 100 more levels that you can grind up, and adds a couple weapons and items here and there, but it does not give you episode 2. Episode 2 came out with the GameCube and the Xbox.
Oh, we got $10 from JJJ John. Thank you.
Should I
say,
join
what-
a team?
What
is
make
it?
and model of CRT if I want component out of it and still be able to play light gun games and run into as little as possible retro tainting problems? What exactly are the things I need to look for?
Is that actually Extrems in here? In the chat?
Oh, in the
Or in the game?
is that the real Extremes?
I don't know, it'd be funny if it was.
That would be funny.
With like the guy from the main human from the cover of the game.
That would be kind of amazing.
I think I need to create the room.
Yes.
He's in here stomping GameCube output problems. John, if you're talking about like standard consumer CRTs, I don't know a lot about like, any of the later like Sonys and stuff like that might have component, but I've always really liked the Toshibas, those, the silver Toshibas. You'll see them in our episodes every now and then. You're actually going to see it quite a lot actually, in the first episode of the documentary series, which you'll be able to see next week. 100% promise on that. 100% promise. It's basically done. I just need to spend a couple of days, tying it up. But you'll see it quite a lot in this. And I've actually done some cool stuff with it where I've got a component video line. I've got 2 component video lines running to a switcher. One is just straight regular component. Any of the systems that are outputting component like the PS2 can go to it. But also I can switch to the other component input on the switcher, which is the output from that is of course going to the Toshiba TV. It's that is actually an RGB video. It's going to Mike Chi's RGB to component transcoder. And I was able to get a lot of shot in the episode by just to get like a consumer CRT style look rather than the PVM look for a lot of shots, because I didn't want to use a lot of PVM stuff early in the episode because there's like one PVM shot earlier on, but I wanted to like save most of the PVM stuff until later when I'm actually like talking about PVMs. So there's a lot of consumer CRT stuff on that too. Oh, we've got a Retrotech in here. Retrotech is I would trust anything he's saying about CRTs, 100% for sure. He's recommending the JVC D series, which I don't know a lot about. I actually I can't visualize JVC's logo on a CRT. Actually, I didn't know they were in that business. I had to come to think of it. I always think of, I mean, like some like lower end professional stuff. I've got a few like professional like JVC VCRs, but I can't think of them for like consumer TVs.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. 2000, I got a really nice 27-inch Toshiba, and we had Toshibas for the longest time. That I can't remember the model we got, but we lived in West Germany at the time and got this really, really nice Toshiba, and it served us for the longest time. And then I want to say, I can't remember the model that I had before, but it was 2000, and I got a Toshiba, and it had Color Stream. Color Stream is Toshiba's talk of
or at least it was,
component.
but if you're talking Germany, was it RGB?
No, I didn't get this in Germany. I'm
Oh.
saying we had Toshibas since Germany.
Oh, okay.
And I'm coming back in. I accidentally got. But I remember getting this, and I'm like, what are all these different, connections on the back? Because, I had just used RF because that was the only thing that my previous TV had. And I remember like looking this stuff up and was like, wow, component looks really good. Yeah. So I had, at that point, I was like, well, S-Video looks really good too, but I realized that component was better than S-Video. And so I made it a point to, especially when I started working at Funcoland, was, hey, let me get S-Videos or component cables for everything. The lab is over this way. Yeah. And then when you want to go in the door on the left, the orange one. And then we'll go to... Oh, no.
So not letting
I
us?
wonder. Yeah, we might have to... Yeah, because it's going to want to do the VR stuff.
The VR temple.
VR stuff?
Yeah, you gotta do... So, in this episode, you gotta do training. And you gotta do 2 different VR training areas before you can go into the live part of... Which they are fun, but visual-wise, like...
Well,
yeah.
I did think that view outside the ship over the planet was pretty, at least.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It sort of feels like you're like flying like relatively close to the atmosphere, and there's like a lot of lateral motion. It looked kind of cool.
Yeah, regretfully won't be able to show, not with this character at least.
Is that purple you? That you kind of look like you almost look like a fancy dragoon. If that's you, I'm not sure who that is.
I think that's Flynn.
Ah.
Actually, you know what? Let me try this real quick. This might work. Go ahead and exit out, and I'm gonna take a different character.
Back to the lobby, you mean?
Yeah, go back to the lobby.
Oh, this is lobby.
Coury, are you playing on your PVM or your...
No, I'm playing on my OLED.
But before I forget and lose track, anyway, I get the Toshiba CRT, and I ended up I had all these different connectors and consoles, so I got one of those old Pelican S-Video and component switches. So I got that, and then everything that I could do component, I did component. When Nintendo announced the component cable, I put in for it day one because I wanted to play Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes with the component cable and on the GameCube. So I got that, and then I was also extremely fortunate working at Funko Land. They didn't have a SKU for monster cables, so when people would trade in monster cables, it was $2.99 to turn around and buy. So I got the GameCube. That one had the S video, but you still needed it with the component. So I got all three: the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube monster cables for $2.99.
What are the out in this world map here? All those like heart gates. Is that like supposed to be like a February like seasonal event or something?
Yeah, so there are seasonal events, and they have Valentine's Day. I can't remember what they call it in this version.
And the game lore.
Yeah, the game is up, by the way. It should.
Yeah, like in Final Fantasy 14, like the Valentine's Day, it's right now. And they call it like it's like Valentiones Day or something. You know, they have to, you know, they have to, you know, name it after like, you know, some like, you know, saint that existed in the lore of Final Fantasy. Like Halloween is, I think, called All Saints Wake. What is Christmas called?
Oh.
Can't remember.
Someone else is in the server, actually.
Yes, that's what it's called. Zephyra Fossil White Day. That is coming up. I think that's Easter, what they use as Easter, in a couple weeks.
I think Final Fantasy 14 calls Easter the hatching tide. Something like that.
All right. Tuned flex. We'll just want to see this area, and then if it works, is it going to work?
Yeah, I'm already in the seaside. So you're gonna want to, when you come in, on the left, go through the orange one, and then come through the central control area. And then when you're in the central control area, choose seaside.
Oh, I see.
We're going to the orange one?
There's central control area and seabed upper levels.
Central control area.
Okay. Oh, seaside.
Oh,
area.
it's seaside area. Yeah.
There we go.
Have you really done the episode 2 content before, Coury?
Mm-hmm.
You've only done episode 1.
Right.
See, this has given me a much better grasp of like what episode 1 and episode 2 and all that means. In terms, I never really thought about it. It was on the box. I never really thought about it.
Right.
Oh yeah, this is giving me some what's the
that classic Sega Blue Sky feel.
Oh yeah.
Now they did for some of the bonus online content, they did do a lot of Nights into Dreams stuff.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause it's Sonic
So
Team.
they have some crossovers with a lot of other Sonic Team franchises and IPs. So you see in online, sometimes they'll have like Sonic and Knuckles and Tails kind of sitting around, and they'll have Puyo Puyo. In one of the lobbies, there is a kind of like a soccer field type deal where you can like bounce the balls around, and if you score, like little choo-choos will come up, and there'll be like choo-choo rocket stuff. There is different music that you can get. You can set. Do I have any? I have disc. Yeah, I'll play disc 6. It should have changed the music.
The layout here has a much greater draw distance. You can sometimes see geometry pop in, but there's just a refreshing openness to the area layout that wasn't really in the other areas.
Right.
It kind of makes me think of Babiki Bay from Final Fantasy.
Yep, so the music did change over to Nights into the Dream. There is a lot of different musics that you can get. You can get Burning Rangers, which I love, which I really wish Sonic Team would do something with Burning Rangers, but that's just me.
The ship, I think, sailed for that, unfortunately.
We got $5 from good old Nye to Back Locker.
Oh.
Saying donating to keep our Phantasy Star Online beaches clean.
Oh my god, I am hearing the
Yeah.
Night's credits theme right now in the background.
It's Dreams.
Dreams, I believe. How many dreams are there?
Man, that last level music at Nights is so good.
Yeah.
I think
I've
it was
always
the
been-
last level down.
I always like the Soft Museum. My favorite music. In the
Yeah,
game.
that was good too. There's a lot of good. I mean, there's a lot of good.
This is the perfect music to like battle like giant aliens. I will die. You will revive me again.
You know, in a way, PSO, especially with all the online content, was, you know, kind of a celebration of Sonic Team and Sega before things like Super Smash Brothers became, you know, the celebration of all these different icons. You had, literally, you would come in online and you would see all manner of Sonic Team IP being represented and talked about, or in music or themes, and
I always thought there was a bar that you could tell that shows how close you are to leveling up, like just on the main screen, but I guess not.
So if you just hit start, it's gonna say like XP to next level.
7. Got it. Moving it, get me to
Oh yeah, I can say yeah.
Oh, we got $5 from Colin Barrett. Thank you.
I was going nuts with the $5.
I know. It seems like half of Sonic Team's games are celebrations of themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they gotta milk that nostalgia. There's, you know, the good feelings that people have for their games. I mean, you know, that's
And they're the ones that most people know. You know, like them and AM2 are the two probably are the most well known.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes people like myself buy all their stuff all the time. On multiple consoles too, by the way.
I mean, when was Sonic Team like officially like instated as a name.
It's Sonic 1. I mean, it says it's Sonic 1. It says Sonic Team Presents.
2, actually.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It is on those early.
Really? Like,
I want to say 2. That's kind of when the split happened when Yuji
Or-
Naka went to the US.
but Sonic
think
1
that's
says
what-
Sonic Team Presents.
Would have been Sonic CD.
It's either 1 or 2. I don't think it was CD as far as I can remember.
Yeah, Sonic Team was
See,
founded in '91, is what Jeff always says. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
Sonic 1 says Sonic Team Presents when you start the game.
Yeah, but they were the team that made Sonic 1. I don't think they were like a division at Sega. Like
Right,
that.
right.
I don't think, like, they had
I
their own
don't think
logo
that
or
was
something.
until till Saturn that became like, oh, there was like a
Did
thing. I guess.
did Ryoko Kodama have anything to do with this?
No, not that I know of. I mean, maybe she's in here as like a consultant or something, but I mean,
I guess she was working on Skies of Arcadia.
yep.
Although I actually don't know what her role on that is as a producer.
You know, I forget about Billy Hatcher.
Whoa,
What? What? Ah! Whoa!
yeah, that crimson red of the super chat. Dang.
We got $50 from Super Guy 88. Whoa!
Thank you. Jeez.
Thank you. Saying I just discovered your channel. You guys are awesome. Thanks to you, I'm currently building my perfect retro gaming setup.
Nice.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. We funny enough, we have also both been in the midst of building our perfect retro game setups as well. You know, I feel like in the time since we have started the channel, we've probably built like 3 to 4 perfect retro game setups. Subs that we once believed were perfect. And now we're telling ourselves, yes, this is it. This is it. Like this is the time. This is the perfect retro game setup. It's not going to change. Is that right? Although it's been, you know, the episode I'm working on now is the first episode that, like, you know, I've gone to deep editing and production with my new setup being functional. And, you know, I've seen little things where it's like, oh, you know, this would be easier if I had it this way or something like that. So when I've got a little downtime after finishing the episode this week,
You can streamline it or fix the
then
things that...
there's a few things I'm going to streamline. Like, for example, in the PS2, I ran both an RGB cable and a component cable, but it's actually quite difficult the way it's positioned to like have those like both picking up space back there, and like to switch them and swap them. And I realize I just need to have one of them hooked up, probably component. And like, if I need to capture RGB, I've got an open SCART spot. You know, I can just run that cable temporarily. That would be the easier way to capture RGB if I needed to, you know?
Right.
So I figured out little things like that. You know, I definitely figured out that I for sure want to get another Extron switcher, because there's a lot more signals that I want to route to a lot more places in the room. Or really, I mean, I'm able to do quite a lot with what I've got, but I want to do even more. I'm getting like I said, I think when you see the episode, you're gonna want to get some of your CRTs out of storage. Because
Well,
I feel
it's
like
it's
I've
not
been able to
about
get,
like
a
getting them out
lot
of storage. It's just that I mean, if I need a certain shot, then with our workflow, I just like, hey, can you get me this shot of this off of this CRT?
Well, sure. But there was a lot.
I
of
could
things
see
that
getting out
definitely-
the 27-inch consumer CRT and putting it somewhere.
Yeah, just because it's a look that you're not going to get with your PVMs, you know?
Right. But I mean, like, I don't use it that often. We're only using it because this is like a series where it makes sense.
Right.
I mean, I didn't shoot anything off of my consumer CRT at the other house for like years.
Well, I've definitely shot a lot off of it for this episode.
Yeah, I was debating what I wanted to, stream with, whether or set it up with, whether the ion adapter, the component cables, through the FrameMeister, or playing on the BVM, because I didn't know what is going to be the best, most comfortable way to try and play this while streaming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that, like, as I figure out my lighting down here, you'll probably see me sitting in here most of the time unless I'm playing something specifically on a CRT.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows?
So you've kind of been gravitating toward even playing your OSSC stuff on the OLED in your new setup.
That is probably like a bit. It's probably doesn't make sense to say it that because I haven't actually played anything that I wasn't streaming on it. I mean, just in general, I haven't. I just haven't played anything. Period.
We got $2 from Ben Brody. But he says $2. EG. I feel like that was bad. I could do a better
broke it
Waluigi
for a
than
second.
that, I promise. Huh?
It like cut your voice out for like a second.
Oh, do I have to say it
So
again?
loud.
Do I have to do it again?
This is a
$2, but you have to say it like I can't do it again. I mean, it wasn't that great. I'm disappointed in myself. I feel I should be able to do a better Waluigi.
I don't know. I think my night has been made just now.
Oh, okay. Well, at least
$2.
at least there's that.
This is this vista right here is a really good view.
Yeah, I like how it looks.
In Final Fantasy 14, this is where they would have hidden the points that you have to click in order to in the new areas that they've added since the first expansion. You can use flying mounts in the areas, but only after you examine all of these little green swirly points that help you understand the air currents in the area better. And you can't fly on your flying mounts until you found all of them in an area.
Oh, that's definitely a pop.
They definitely would have hidden one right here.
Yeah, it's not so much. I would love to go on like a gaming bender, but between moving and doing stuff in the house since moving,
well, just getting your
situated.
setup set up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of getting into. I think I've said this to try. I said it a couple of times. I'm getting into the whole like smart sockets and stuff, and smart lighting. And I like the idea of setting everything up that once it's time to like shoot something, I can just hit a button on my phone that turns on all the correct lights and turns off all the ones that I don't need. I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I haven't had time to just play games in general.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't either. I mean, I've been. I mean, I haven't taken a day off from editing in probably a month. I mean,
You're not
whenever
gonna
it
know what
was,
to do once you get that documentary done.
Well,
he's
he's got 4 more parts that.
I'm going to move on to part 2.
Yeah, and also like we'll be doing other episodes.
Yeah. But like, it's funny because like I haven't like once the 5th part is done, like by the time that comes out, like it'll have been about a year since the point where I'm like, okay, like I have to focus on this and basically nothing else in terms of like my workload for the show, or else it's never going to get done. And it will have been about a year by the time the 5th episode is out. It'll have been about a year from when I started going all in on like script writing and stuff. And like it's gonna be like I'm so looking forward to that, but part of me also thinks like I'm gonna feel a little too, you know. But there's gonna be it'll be a relief to work on.
Well, it's the same thing as like when I did M2. It was once it was finished, it was like a very emotional experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like you almost like don't know how to focus on something different, you know?
Yes.
We got $4.99 from oops, it scrolled up. $4.99, thank you, from Sam Bam. Thank you. Saying, oh man, so many great memories with this game, especially blocking the landline. Oh yeah. That's all
For
about.
me, it was
You know,
blocking a landline with America Online.
I finally convinced my family to get broadband, in part thanks to Final Fantasy 11.
Corey, did we want to switch over to PSO2?
Yeah. Can you open up a pipe so we can go back to the thing so I can...
Yep, hold on, let me find you guys.
But yeah, the visual jump in this area, like it's not just the difference in graphical quality and effects and stuff, but just like the areas are much more open and less like these sort of small round areas connected by paths. I mean, it is that to some extent, but I think it's more, I guess, impressively designed. But yeah, when Final Fantasy 11 came out, I was in college, but so I was playing on broadband at school. But when I went home, I played it for about a month on dial-up. And finally, you know, talked to my parents, and it actually worked fine on dial-up compared to broadband. It wasn't that big of a downgrade, really. It was just that you were using the phone line.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I found a way. Like, I have no idea how I did it, but I was able to find a way around my college's firewall to be able to play, because I had a broadband adapter for my Dreamcast, and by unplugging the Ethernet from it at a certain time, I could get around it. I have no idea how I was able to do it.
Oh wow! I never even thought of that. There was nothing blocking Final Fantasy 11. I never even thought of that. I wonder if that was like common back then, but surely, like, I severely doubt that's even a thing now. It's like, I mean, what college campus is gonna like block people from playing video games online? You know, I mean,
They did back in the day.
that's what I'm saying. Like nowadays, though, it's such a basic right. Oh wow, we got 577 from 7 Kurgan. Thank you. Saying, anybody read Firebrand X article, The Woes of PS2 Video Output Profile? And he mentions about the internal bilinear filter and how it does a blur effect. I have not read that. Is that a recent? Me and Firebrand were chatting a little bit not long ago, but I didn't see anything about that. I'd be curious to know more about that. Some PS2 games, most PS2 games don't really have any kind of filter. The pictures aren't on screen.
Oh, okay.
In this layout. But like most PS2 games have sharp output, no anti-aliasing really, but some games like Xenosaga Episode 3 comes to mind. It has like this sort of anti-aliasing-ish effect going on, and it's a beautiful looking game, but it's not good for making comparisons. Just because of that, like I usually go for some other kind of game. Which, by the way, there was another one just this past weekend. That Xenosaga Episode 3 is shown early in the PS2 RGB video, and for some reason people ask a lot, like, what game is it? Something about it, I guess. Just it's running around on a beach. I mean, it does look impressive, but it's not exactly like an open beach, you know. So they're obviously like they're kind of, you know, faking it with the background, you know. It's not real geometry that you can go to. Oh, it's on his Patreon page. Okay. Now that you say that, I think I did hear about that. Now that you say that, in fact, it's possible he even told me about that directly, and I just had a brain fart because, like, I can't even remember what I was doing yesterday at this point. I mean, it's been an adventure getting this done. I mean, I'm trying to mostly swear off, like, you know, working late nights as much as possible, but like I kind of had to do a week of this video just to get it done, and like all week long, like I basically worked until midnight.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really excited once you guys start to get these out, because literally, I mean, like all your content, you just devour it, and when it's over, like, you're always sad because it's like, I really want more My Life in Gaming content. But I know you've been working on really hard on it, and seeing a lot of the stuff that you were able to get done, you know, due to the retro create, it's pretty awesome, and can't wait to see the fruit of all that work that you guys put in.
Yeah, well, it'll be over in 45 minutes when you start it, but you know, but it's taken a long time to get. But it's not truly going to be over because there's 4 more episodes. Also, Joe,
evolution of my character from
oh, so is that the character that is it based on like the first character?
Yeah, that I was just playing as like the character is named after the
emergency mission alert. Large-scale deployment operation in progress. All ARCS ops report to the quest counter to join the mission.
She doesn't look anything like it, but her name is based after the character from Phantasy 3.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
Joe said, "Whoa, Tri said fart. That's the closest I've ever heard to him cussing." I don't even remember saying fart. Did I say fart? Oh, was it from the fart attack.
I think you have to do it through the actual Xbox.
Well, you should be able to right here.
Oh, I said brain fart. I don't remember saying brain fart. I did say fart attack though. BF Retro on Coury Skunk.
Large-scale operation has ended.
Yeah, I don't have the beta, so I'm gonna sit this one out.
Yeah, look at that rifle you got there.
Yeah, I've got several. I've got several different weapons so far.
I'll be back in a bit.
All right.
Well, they've got trailers for the Sonic movie playing in the lobby.
Yes, yes. So if you go, there's certain areas that you can go, and they have different things going on.
Whoa,
Back-
that red X, I just gotta say, is giving me serious. Like the windows are giving me Windows XP vibes, and I kind of.
Which quest are you up for?
So should we just do
Oh, so you just like go up to a counter and like choose a quest?
yeah, I mean there's lots of them, and there's like different difficulty levels.
Does it
let-
like put you in like a different like starting point in the area depending on what mission you're doing?
Maybe. Let's do.
we could do.
Let's do something in the forest because it's just like I really like how the forest looks in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or here's another coastal. Let's do this one, the coastal exploration.
Okay.
Coury, is your camera supposed to just be your shoulder?
Oh, is it? No, it's not supposed to be. That's it's all. This is not. So you're not in my party right now. It would tell. It would just have your name.
Is what's your character name?
Lina, Silina,
V2.0.
V2.0. Yeah, let's see.
What I'll do is I'll just
Oh,
find
here
your
we go.
room and.
I sent you a party invitation.
It's nice that they don't force you to have a first name and last name. From what I'm seeing.
If you want to just go ahead and start a room, I will find you through
Well,
the
I
search
sent you an
for-
invite, so it should show up. Like if you hit start and then go to friends, friend list, and probably if you look at it, might have something there.
Yeah, now I just invited you. But there's no notification that comes up and says,
Hang on.
oh, it says we're undertaking a quest. And that's why we can't invite.
Are you in the middle of the quest?
Oh, can you quit the quest? I don't know how to exactly.
Yeah,
do it.
I will go through and try and quit them.
Look at that.
The coast of Wopal, a breathtaking landscape of glittering sands and a vast ocean. It's home to environmental oddities of unknown origin. Waterfalls that flow from the planet's aqueous surface. Herbs to catch the water.
I don't really understand this, like the mining aspect of it.
Subject to genetic engineering.
I did some the other day. I did some fishing and mining,
Weapons hot.
and it's I mean, you just kind of sit there and push a button. It's not really like super complicated or over the top or anything. You literally just go, you push a button and you keep mining or fishing until your stamina runs out, and then you go do something else.
And then can you like sell the stuff that you get or
Yes.
whatever, like to other players?
You can. There is like an auction house, but there's a cafe that you bring the food, like you get food. You bring it to the cafe where you can make food that gives you buffs, or you can turn that into currency to buy rings. You can get 2 rings from them. All right, try now, Coury.
Okay, hang on, I'm gonna attack.
So how do you use the abilities that are like on the button?
That are not the X, Y, and right bumper.
Yeah.
You can use the D-pad to move between them, and you click in the left stick to use it, to activate it.
Oh, that's a little weird.
Yeah, but
I wish you could do it with another button, I guess.
well, you can customize it however you want. You can.
Oh, okay. Well, that's actually pretty cool. See, something that I wish in Final Fantasy 14, like the original version of 14, the one that everyone hated.
Oh, sorry, it's so loud. Hang on, I can turn it down.
The hotbar, even when playing with the controller. Of course, remember version 1. But the game had full controller support. Even when playing with the controller, though, your hotbar you navigate with the D-pad. It was just a linear hotbar. And part of me still kind of misses that. Because, like, now they've got this thing, it's called the cross hotbar, where you hold R2, and then you've got 8 abilities that can be used, and each one is a diamond pattern. So
I gotta go.
the abilities correspond with the 4 face buttons and the 4 directional buttons. And then you hold L2 and you've got another set of those. And for some reason, like the R2 side, I'm fine on. But like the L2 side, like I just get them reversed in my head really bad. And I always like try to like, especially like on the L2 side with the face buttons, I try to not put like anything too complicated, like anything too important on that side, because like I mean it's just like I'm one of those people that's not too good with I say wrong all the time, and I don't know if it's because of that, but it's the controller layout is very good in theory, but when I have too many abilities, like I easily get my wires crossed with the way that cross hotbar works in Final Fantasy 14. So part of me wishes that you could like the linear hotbar that you can use with like a keyboard or a mouse. Like you can use that on PS4, but I don't want to use a mouse. I want a controller.
See, I can switch through using up and down on the D-pad. You can have up to 6 sets of weapons with unique attacks. Or with...
Oh.
So I also have these boots, these knife boots. And you like kind of float. And you jump. You jump and... Or if you attack, you'll... It's kind of cool.
I like the interface in general. Like it looks pretty easy to use, really.
I have a gun blade. It's like a shotgun that... Alright, like... Looks kind of like a shotgun. So you have those like the left and rights. You can assign 10 things. Like I have like it can be whatever you want, but you can have several of those. So you just hit left and right, and you can choose through 3 of them, but you can unlock more.
Yeah, John. Toshiba is the consumer CRT I have. I don't think I've ever used a Hitachi.
Coury, if you want to create a room, I'll find you. If you want to create the coast one.
Oh, this should be fine. I already did. This is what we're in right now. This is the mission that I took on. That's this one that we're doing right now. Are you still in? You're still in here though, right?
No, I haven't came in. I've been in the lobby.
What? It says you're like in my. Jump into the pool of water.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you were in here for some reason. I don't know why I thought you.
No,
were
I
in
was
here.
gonna accept the quest from the vendor, the lady there.
Oh.
So is
Okay, let me
this the
see.
first time that the game has been on Xbox One at all? Like,
yeah, I don't think it's. It didn't-
Yes.
in Japan, it's not on Xbox One. Now, I think they did say that it was a timed exclusive. It's probably going to come to PlayStation in a year, I bet.
I feel like Microsoft is funding a lot of this.
Yeah, but I think there was like a timed exclusive. I think it said something like that, but I can't remember.
So is that you right there?
I'm running around. I don't.
Then why are you right here with me? I summoned you at this
Yeah,
the Allied terminal.
we can see you right there. You're just standing still.
That's really weird because I'm running around. Well, that's a bug that I can put down in the survey.
Yep.
Hang on, I'll head back to the. I'm gonna abandon the quest. See what happens. That's the friend's partner, not the real deal. Okay,
Friend
there's
partner?
a lot of stuff about this like that I am still.
What's a friend partner? You can like play with like a not real version of your.
Do they get experience for it?
That's kind of creepy, actually.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can try and get to the final
Say-
area.
It says I can't invite you to a party now.
Well, no, that's the gateway ship.
We're having such a difficult time with this.
What's up?
I'll just watch the Sonic trailer over and over again.
Are you back in the lobby?
Yeah.
Okay, let me head back to the lobby as well.
Do you hear sound on the Sonic trailer?
Yeah, if you're close enough to the TV, you will. And they did a concert last night at 8 o'clock. They
It's
had a
interlaced, too.
concert.
Is it interlaced?
I don't know if it's on purpose.
Okay. I'm back in the lobby.
Okay, let me see if I can. Here we go. Is that a party
Oh, there.
invitation?
Yep, join party. Okay,
Alright.
now I got the notification.
All right. Now,
Which quest are you up for?
well, I guess let's do this. I haven't been to the tundra.
I mean, it's okay, but it's white and blue and icy and boring looking.
How about this one? How about the dragon altar? Or the soul Durandal?
That one's okay. I think it's a volcano.
All right.
You know, it's funny.
I don't know when we will do a best video quality for original Xbox, but we definitely intend to. That can be a little complicated because there's a lot of different DACs on different Xbox models, as far as I understand.
All right, I'm in the thing. Whenever you're ready, I'm in the.
Yeah, I just dropped down from the gateway ship.
Okay.
Yep, there you are.
I'm loading in. There we are.
Perfect.
Finally. There's definitely a lot of little quirks about this, and there's a lot of new stuff to learn, I guess.
It looks pretty fun, though.
It really is, and I think the biggest thing is if you have other people to play with, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I like that it has like mobile game style, like, oh, you can just log in and do these daily quests like really quick, and they're nothing. It's like they don't seem like they're super time consuming.
Well, we got 5 Canadian bucks from the importer.
Oh, I
Thank
haven't
you.
seen an importer in a little while.
Yeah. Yeah. It says seeing you play Coury reminds myself in 2014. I'm also playing PSO2 right now, trying to cap my 5th class to level 95. So I guess that's the Japanese version.
Dang.
Didn't there used to be, or was there never, or maybe there still is? Like, is there an IP block on PSO2? in
No,
Japan,
no.
or
I
was there at some point?
played the Japanese version to get footage of it a while back. If you remember?
Oh, okay. There might
To my
used
knowledge, it's no longer there.
but it used to.
However, you still got to put in the patch to use, I think, the old Singapore version to get the
Oh.
English translation, but
So you go through here?
none of those that part, the C server is no longer active. I think they took that down, so you have to use the Japanese server, and then you have to try and apply that tweak to it.
So there
and even
already
then,
was an English language.
Yes, but it wasn't fully translated, or it was very limited.
Okay.
I got this set of weapons that had a very high rarity, so I feel like they're much more powerful than anything else that I had and that I've gotten since. But you can see how much faster it is than the original.
Also,
Yeah, and I mean, in a way, it almost doesn't feel like an RPG. It just, it just kind of feels like an action game.
it almost feels like a Platinum Games game. Oof.
Also, just to let you guys know I'm back, but I have some issues with my camera, so I have to put it off for now.
Well, that's okay.
And it just picks up your money automatically, which is kind of nice.
I think the biggest thing is the personal loot, because
Yeah, you don't have to
I
worry
don't
about
think-
taking it from anybody. You just pick up everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like you can't steal stuff from anybody or accidentally take something. Everyone just gets their own items.
Which was a big deal in the original PSO, because as a range hacking from far, and then a rare item would drop, and the hunter right next to you would just take it. I'm like, hey, like,
Yeah, exactly.
you're taking all the loot here, and
Exactly.
So, will you run into other players in
Yeah, I mean,
these
I
battle
feel like you see
areas?
like other players all the time, and I don't even know why they're there. If it's just like
Yeah,
randomly
why
puts-
are they there?
so what's going on is when you go to take a quest, when you go to the mission table, when you're talking to that lady, you can choose to join a game already in progress,
Oh, okay.
and you can choose to like
and you can
already
have your
kind
own
of like
party
warp
in
and
that.
teleport.
So you get like a lot of people. You can get a lot of people at the same time in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's kind of like a dungeon in Final Fantasy 14 where like you can join an in progress dungeon, except that's kind of different because you can only like the dungeon is only for a party. Like you're not going to run to another party in the dungeon. There's only one instance of it per party, but you can join an in progress one if you want to. But this seems totally different because these areas seem much more open.
See, there's somebody
Less-
right here. There's
Yeah.
Sonicu is in here. I don't know if that's like a AI control though.
I doubt it. Look at him jumping around. I told you last week that Drum and Lynn and I watched Ralph Breaks the Internet,
Yeah.
and I felt like the funniest part of the whole movie was those player characters in the Slaughter Race game, like the way they animated.
Yeah.
Oh man, that had me dying.
See, I don't know if they're AI controlled because their names are in white. But maybe not.
If they're
Well-
the same level as you, then and they're talking, then yeah, they're AI controlled.
Well, they don't seem to
But I'm
be.
pretty
Well,
sure.
look at that one like jumping around and stuff. It's not acting like an AI.
Oh, that's it's Sam Kambam. Is he in the chat? It's... Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Oh. So they just followed you. How did they do it?
I guess so. I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool.
But I don't. How did they do it?
Well, if you, like I was saying earlier, if you go to the quest counter and talk to the lady, you can search for games already in progress, and it has the
Oh.
player name in every.
Oh, okay. So even if you don't necessarily friend, you can still like find them just based on character name.
Mm-hmm.
The real people just in a different party. That's cool.
Oh, hey.
Thank
got
you.
$9.99 from good old Adam Jones. Glad to finally catch a stream. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And donate for the first time in ages. What will the next episodes from you guys be covering? Well, look for at some point this coming week. I am finally near the first episode of our 5-part documentary series, which is called Analog Frontiers. And the first episode of that is kind of just going to be there's interviews with a whole bunch of retro tech people, and it's just going to be an overview. It's kind of going to be the introduction to what's going to become an ongoing sort of conversation in the series about keeping classic gaming going, and the technology that people have developed to allow us to continue to play games in new ways. So yeah, that's been a long time coming, and there's going to be 4 more of them after that, over the next several months. So look forward to it.
Yes, I don't know where you are. I think I went through the single party thing, and
Yeah, if you go to the single, that's just you. If you go to
Okay.
the single.
Oh. I thought it was just the party that you're in.
So there's certain instance areas of the map that is called single, and it's just your character that goes there.
Oh, okay. This attack is so strong.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, once this goes to open beta, I'd highly recommend people give this a try.
I wonder when the open beta is going to be. If this is like the closed, I mean, I can't imagine. It feels like it's pretty close to release. It's got to be close to release at this point.
I was surprised they didn't announce it during E3 last year. Actually,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to translate, but I mean, I feel like with this, they're pretty close to having to release this. I mean,
I think it was a translation and a server load deal, as well as
Probably.
just kind of taking stock of, well, how much interest is in this, and
Well, I feel
I mean, Phil Spencer can go all he wants and say like, I want PSO, but you still gotta have people playing it, and I think, I think this closed beta really showed Sega that like you made a mistake not releasing this years ago, when a lot of us have been patiently waiting,
yeah.
saying, "Hey, Sega, to PSO 2."
please.
Yeah.
When I went to E3 last year and I was actually attending the Microsoft presser, PSO2 probably got the second most thunderous wars out of anything that was announced.
It's such a.
And you can all you probably can guess what the first thing was.
I don't remember. This is the only thing I remember from it.
Not even Keanu.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess now that you mention that.
I mean,
Yeah. Oh, it looks like I did it. Send me back to the gateway ship.
oh, there you go.
Yeah, I remember sitting down. I didn't watch anything of the stream when it hit live, and because I was working, and I was like, well, I'll watch all the stuff later that night. So I go and I load it up, and I'm like, okay, my expectations with Microsoft with their conferences and streams is, not like crazy high, but I expect them to be good, but not like, oh my god, like wowing. And
Sure.
it's going through the different games and everything. We get to the part where PSO comes up, and literally I hear like the first 3 notes, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Phantasy Star Online 2. And I had listened, I got all the PSO2 music, and I've been listening to the music for the game for years now. So it's kind of funny. I'm sitting here playing, these areas that I've been listening to the music, and I'm like, oh, this is where the music actually comes in. But that stream, or that reveal, literally it was like, Sega, Microsoft, don't you be playing with my emotions, because I've been waiting for this game for almost 8 years, and you can't. I literally
Let's do the
cried
Coastal
because I was
Expedition really
so
quick.
happy that we were finally getting PSO2. I've taken so many surveys from Sega, like always. It's always the first thing I do is PSO2 win. PSO2 went like every.
Well, that's probably what made it happen, right? I mean,
Well,
Right.
I mean, it's Phil
seriously,
Spencer.
if it wasn't for people asking, why would they have done this?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can understand the difficulty of localizations and the cost and money behind it. I remember, literally going into the PSO2 website almost every other day for months on end, back in 2012, 2013, looking for status updates. And it was always, Sega was always like, we're trying to work on the localization. And then there's, they feel that all the special stuff that they have going on on the Japanese servers, the in-game stuff and the tie-ins with other Japanese products and IPs that like none of us would understand, and then they feel like, well, that might be a turnoff, but it's like, we don't care. And not only do we not, there's a lot of people in North America that love Japanese culture and stuff anyway, so it doesn't matter. They're going to be all into that whether they truly know it or not. And I'm pretty sure people are, give them more credit than you do, Sega, because there are people who are very much going to know what these IP products are and tie-ins.
Well, my big hope, but I can't say I have much hope that Dragon Quest X will come over someday. But a friend and I, a friend who knows Japanese, and I've been talking about playing Dragon Quest X sometime. Like, even though I couldn't really understand what's going on, at least stumble through it. Like, I just want to complete the main, like, quest in it, So I can say I beat every Dragon Quest game.
So you get experience for the enemies that the other players kill as long as you're close by.
I think you still need, well,
Because
I don't know.
I've been
It's a good
getting
question.
experience.
In Final Fantasy 14, you have to, like, if you engage in an enemy that another player is fighting, you will get some experience without taking away from theirs, as long as you, like, at least gave it like 2 or 3 hits or something.
Yeah, I mean, I see those numbers popping up over there, and then it will say experience sometimes.
I'm sure you have to contribute in some way.
No, see, just right there, 35 experience, 27 for not even.
I mean, if that were the case, you could just go to an area and just get experience. You just like leave your character.
Well, no, that's what happens. Like, I did a thing yesterday, and it was like the enemies were too powerful, but I was able to follow people around and get experience.
Really, that's interesting.
Well, I think that they just do that to make it more
just said I got
approachable.
experience and I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
Other than running around.
I don't even know what the max level is in this.
I don't either. I presume 200, but I don't know. That's just a guess. Have to feed my poor mag.
Yeah.
Sitting here with low battery.
I don't understand how I can get them to appear to follow me around.
So you gotta go to... Is it quick menu? I remember doing the same thing because I was like, wait a minute, where's my mag? It should be showing.
What is it? Is it like it's like a little gunner thing that it looks like an Opa Opa.
Yeah, well, they changed shapes after. Apparently, for taking part in this closed beta, you get one that looks like a Dreamcast.
Oh.
I mean, that's what they did. They had ones they had a Master System one in the original.
That's funny.
Yeah, they had all. So in PSO, they had like kits of Mark III, kit of Master System, Mega Drive, and Dreamcast and Saturn, and you could use those kits to turn your mag into one of those consoles. So you could be running around with well, that's not good. You could be running around with those consoles as your mag.
What was that? Code Emergency?
Yeah,
So
I've got
the code,
there's a really nasty enemy that I have to deal with, and I don't know where there's a turret for me to fight them off.
So I'm assuming that your characters are going to be wiped for the
No, you keep
no,
everything.
really?
That's the surprising thing. I've never seen that happen in a closed beta
Oh, I
before,
died.
moving from a closed beta to open or anything like that. But they have come out and said that there's no character wipes or anything. It is literally
Wow.
you keep all your stuff, and it's going to go
Well-
from closed beta to open, and then open to live.
I mean, I guess the game is so like established. Like, I mean, you know, like, I mean,
Yeah,
the
that's what I was
content is
saying. Yeah,
there.
it seems surprising that they even had to do this because I mean the game's been around for so long.
Yeah, but then they had server issues on Friday, so
Yeah, but then I thought, well, I guess this is the first time of it being on the Xbox.
that's true.
Yeah, and I think they also want to test, more eyes on, just checking the content. Like I've seen a couple spelling errors or just grammatical errors.
Yeah. That's all
And
stuff they
there's that
just-
old saying where you have what did that how did that saying go? You have 3 bugs that may happen 1 in 1,000 times, and when the product is live, you're going to see it 1,000,000 times because however many millions of people are playing it. And so it's always good to stress something like, I'd rather them have done this than release the game and do what happened on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, people would have been crushed, trying to play the game and then probably been
What's this out
turned
here?
off, never play it again.
Yeah. Where are we supposed to be going here?
Can you
Oh,
still
there's
sign
a-
up for the beta?
I don't see why not.
Well,
All it required was downloading the Xbox Live Insider and then downloading the game.
but is there
Yeah,
going to be any more days of closed beta?
No,
Uh,
this was extra. It was supposed to end last night at 12 a.m.
Oh.
or this morning at 12 a.m. But they added an extra day because the first day was completely blown by the servers. Like, we didn't get in, I think, 11 p.m. Pacific
I was
on
asleep
Friday
when-
night. My time was when the servers finally got up. But at that point, we had already missed 2 urgent quests. And so people hoping to get their Dreamcast and, utilize those 2 urgent quest time periods, they got screwed. So they, everyone asked for extra time, and, thankfully they did.
So after this session, the next phase is open beta. There's not another.
It should be open beta, yes.
When is
that
that
is
starting?
my understanding.
When's that starting?
We don't know.
But official release is like April, right?
I don't think they've said when it's going to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they haven't specified. We thought it was going to be March, but
I don't know where we're supposed to be going.
yeah, this is the first time I've actually gone in this zone, so
Corey's playing on Xbox One X. I don't know about Vanessa.
it's right now it's only on Xbox One. And yeah, I I did go out and get a One X because I didn't
Oh.
have an Xbox One.
So you got
And-
just for this game, or not
Yeah,
maybe
I got
for the
it just-
game, but it was
just-
the big incentive, I guess.
Yeah. No, I'm a huge Phantasy Star fan. So, anything like this, I've got to, I cannot not do this. So
Yeah.
I had to get the One X. And then because I'm crazy, I had to get like the Series 2 Elite controller.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I sometimes go crazy.
Just $180.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I have to say, it is a really nice controller. Like,
I
it
don't
better
think-
be for that.
I don't
for that
think I've ever
price.
held one, or maybe, well, not the second one, but I feel like Best Buy may have had like a regular Elite controller on display. I don't understand those like extra like paddle buttons or whatever people call them. Like do you like program them to be like a certain button
Yes.
combination? Is it a
Like
combination?
macro. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So
macro.
it's like hitting like B and X at the same time or something.
Sure, yes. For
Yeah.
example.
So right now I've got the default layout, and like sometimes it's really nice. Like I was playing Shadow Complex last night, and it was really nice to have these macros down here that I could set up while I was trying to do complicated moves.
Mm.
I've not listened to any of the music in this though. I feel like you can't hear the music very well when you're running around.
I actually I turned mine up because I love music in video games, so especially when it's good music. And since I've been listening to this music for years, it's really nice to put the music with the area.
Yeah. I kind of like I got the soundtracks for Final Fantasy 10 and 12 before the games came out in the US, and like I feel like those soundtracks didn't really make an impression on me until I actually played the game, because like that first listen was like kind of disappointing, because like I just didn't have the association or the context. But that's kind of why I gravitate toward video game music in general, because over music, I guess, because like music for music's sake, like I don't have like music for me is like associated with something else I like, so like that's a big part of why I like video game music, is because I associate it with the game. And so like I absolutely love the Final Fantasy 12 soundtrack, but the first time I listened to it, like it was just like I couldn't really remember one tune to the next, but I had to play the game to really get that association. So I think I prefer to, since then, I think I now prefer, to not listen to the soundtrack until after playing the game.
I think it depends on the game. If it's from a series that I already know and is kind of established, I kind of like listening to it. Like Ace Combat 7 was a great example. I obviously wanted to play it on PC first because I don't have a PS4 or at the time a Xbox One. So I had to wait on the PC version to come out, and I'm not gonna listen to.
Oh.
I fished for the first time.
It obviously people released, it became available, and I was listening to that, and it was nice because now when I was actually playing the game, I could actually kind of focus a little bit more on the actual story and what was going on, while kind of subliminally listening to the music and knowing what's going on and tying that in, so I could I still enjoy the music because I've already heard it and I love it, and now it's a little better because I'm focusing on the game.
That makes sense.
But I can understand, I don't listen to. I mean, the only music that I listen to outside of video game music would be synthwave. I used to listen to a lot of progressive trance and house music in the 90s and 2000s, but it just I don't know. Like, I love classic, like 80s pop and 80s rock, and now like I love synthwave, and that's just kind of. Oh, it just said you got a rare weapon. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
It just notified me that you
Yeah,
got a rare.
Oh no, you can't keep your rare weapon secret.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's like nobody can steal it from you or anything.
Yeah, but maybe they can badger you to trade it, or can you even trade stuff?
Yeah, there's definitely.
You know, Final Fantasy 14 does this weird thing that I kind of don't like, where
I'll have to get it
you
appraised.
once you have fought with a piece of equipment, you can't sell it.
Huh.
But once it reaches like a certain level of bond with you from using it so much, which like for higher level gear takes freaking forever. Like you can then turn it into a piece of materia, which like is just like an augment that you can put on weapons, which or armor that you can then sell that. But like it makes the Final Fantasy 14 economy is not very interesting to engage in compared to Final Fantasy 11 to me. But I don't play the game at a very deep level, so you know, I don't know, but like
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
it was always
exciting
exciting, like selling stuff on the auction house, like you know, selling your old gear and stuff. I mean, it kind of felt like you know you were. You know, a piece of armor that helped you out at one point is now you know, helping out someone else who was where you were, you know? And you can't do that anymore. So it's kind of sad.
Is there a way to increase the amount of stuff you can carry?
So you can send it to storage. Have you been doing that?
Can you? Can you just do it while you're in? Man. Oh, cool. I didn't realize you could just do it when you're just like out.
Yeah, you just select the item, send to storage.
Cool. I had no idea. I was sitting here discarding things that were junk. That I thought was junk.
MD wants to know what class you're playing. They like the combat style.
This is a bouncer.
Bouncer.
I am a ranger.
What exactly does a bouncer do?
It's more like hand to hand and swords and stuff like that. I'll always choose anything that uses swords if I can.
Blades.
Yeah.
Wink.
How many classes are there?
There are 6,
Oh.
but you can actually you can kind of multi-class. It looks like I haven't delved much into it, but it looks like you can kind of multi-class into some of the other trees from the other classes, and you can change your class. Like you're not stuck with one class, but if you do change to another class, you're starting at level 1, but you can change back over to your original class.
Yeah.
Like,
so just like Final Fantasy 11 and 14. It always throws me for a loop because that's you know I know I keep bringing them up, but that's like my frame of reference. You know, and
well,
like, it's always seemed strange to me, like hearing people like, oh, they start a new character because they want to play a different class. It's like, well,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy
that's
is
what
all
it used
about
to
that
be.
job system.
But now you could have just like
a
use
lot
the one
of
character. For
people are saying, like, if you are familiar with Final Fantasy 14, then a lot of the concepts, like, this game won't be a shock to you.
everything. Yeah.
The importer says there are actually 12 classes.
Oh, Do we know if the game is launching with like all the content that the Japanese version has?
Nobody knows yet, because I mean,
Yeah,
there's a
that's
lot
a
of stuff, and a lot of that content might be tough to get the rights to release in other countries.
That makes sense.
And that was a big thing that Phil said, though, was he wanted all content regardless
Yeah,
of
I mean that's gonna
whether it
tough.
was exclusive to Japan or not. I think that's probably one of the things that they've been having issues with and trying to secure. But that was what Phil said in one of the post interviews that at E3 last year, that it was specific in requesting all content regardless.
Well, I mean, why don't you just do what you did in the NES days? Take a licensed game from Japan and make it something unlicensed in America. Or take Kenshiro out of Fist of the North Star and place him with generic Karate Man.
Journey to Silius.
Yeah. I mean, they lost the license with that, but I mean, just make it. If it's like, I mean, I don't know what kinds of I'm assuming you're talking like it's like licensed content that's like a tie-in with like a Japanese company or an anime or something, but like just replace the characters.
Yeah, and that might be part of the development of this version. I mean, we don't know, but I mean that could definitely play a part.
Journey to Silius was never released as Terminator, but it did start off development as a Terminator game.
Right, that was the original plan.
Yeah, but then there's other examples of like I think Shatterhand is based on an anime or manga or something in Japan. And they just reskinned it for the US.
Oh, Keith Courage.
Oh yeah, Keith Courage. Yep.
Yeah, that was definitely an anime before it became Keith Courage.
Yep.
Fun fact about that, actually, they're remaking that same anime for this year, like the anime that inspired the Keith Courage game.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if they'll make a remake of the game.
That would be hilarious. It would be so funny just to see them like try to turn a new game into actually Keith Courage.
Oh my god.
Well, it would be.
hilarious.
I mean, that'd
Should be a bonus for the.
It'd be a
Turbo
cool
Mini.
way to promote it, for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, shouldn't the PC Engine Mini shouldn't that be coming out soon?
Oh yeah, that's a good
March.
point. I haven't really thought about lately. Like I don't think
No, next month.
Konami
maybe?
has really been doing anything or is it Konami that's releasing?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think they've been doing a whole lot to drum up.
It says
Well, it's
March
not
19.
pachinko, so
It says March 19 is a supposed release date.
Oh wow.
Oh.
So
We'll see.
Yeah.
I
is this the
ordered
boss?
I
the
ordered
boss, I
the
think.
US version just because I don't have anything that looks like a TurboGrafx. I've got a PC Engine. I actually have two PC engines, but I don't have a TurboGrafx. And I thought, well, I'll just get, even though I think the TurboGrafx
oh, I'm like
hideous. Even though I think the TurboGrafx is hideous and the PC Engine is beautiful, I was like, I'm gonna order the TurboGrafx. But now I'm like, maybe I should order the Engine
Whoa.
because like I've kind of ended up for whatever reason getting like the Super Famicom Mini, the Mega Drive Mini instead of US versions. So now I'm kind of like, well, maybe I should continue the trend. I don't know.
Did you get the Tower of Power from Japan? I've been still thinking about getting that.
Corey did. Or no, Corey got the US one.
Shoot here.
But no, I don't have a Tower of Power. I got the I'm trying to remember what online store I ordered. It might have been, was it Play Asia? I can't remember if it was Play Asia or something else where I ordered the Asian Genesis Mini for Alien Soldier. And it wasn't in the box, but it was like tossed into the package. Was a, for some reason, an American Genesis Sonic mini cartridge, even though it was a Mega Drive, but it was the Genesis style cartridge for some reason.
Hey, it's got me in here with you. That's
Yeah.
cool.
I thought that's what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, normally I've always done this single, and like no one comes in party wise.
How do those guns work?
Some of them.
The turrets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a big charge attack on them that you can do.
Is that black bar over it mean that it's already depleted? Like there's no, is there any
I think
reason to get?
it's heating up.
Yeah, it's heat.
Oh, I see. This kind of makes me think of that water tunnel level in Sin and
Bayonetta?
Punishment 2.
And what?
Oh,
In Sin and Punishment 2. What were you thinking of?
I thought you were gonna say it was like the one part in Bayonetta when she's like surfing on the, or Bayonetta 2.
Oh, but that's over the water, isn't it?
It's like in a tunnel. I thought.
Oh, I mean, I've only played Bayonetta. Maybe the frame rate was so bad on PS3 that I couldn't tell it was an
Whoa.
This is like Delroy Lee on steroids.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it's going for.
It also makes me think of that boss fight on the boat on Resident Evil 5 a little bit. You can get and the guns and gun turrets on that, you know. It's basically Leviathan.
that actually reminded me that Bayonetta is actually coming for PS4 in like a week or so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Vanquish.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was coming that soon.
Yeah.
How
like
much
next
is it
week,
going? How much is that going to cost?
40. I mean, I'll definitely get the Xbox One version.
Yeah, those games feel at home on Xbox, I would say. It's weird though, like I definitely think of Bayonetta as like a Nintendo now, so it's kind of strange.
Whoa.
Like I don't
Do
see
you
like,
have enough heal mats?
What?
heal mats.
Heal materials?
Oh no, I didn't. I'm just. It's just close. That's pretty cool looking. Is that it?
Oh, we got him.
Nice.
It's pretty crazy that they're doing a free to play model with this. Really,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's surprising to me. I didn't realize it was.
Well, I mean, most MMOs now are free to play. I mean, I can really only think of World of Warcraft that still sticks to a subscription model.
well, I'm not even talking subscription though. I'm just talking like you don't even have to buy the game. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like that is surprising.
Right.
Yeah, well, I thought that was the case. I thought you had to buy the game.
I take it this game doesn't have any offline.
No, online only.
Yeah. So it's going to be difficult to play this game many years down the road, but I'm sure there were private servers and stuff, but I don't know how we're going to get around that with like modern, to be honest, I don't know what like the state of like, custom firmware on like, any of these current platforms. And if you will be able to connect a game like this to a custom server in the future.
I know with the first PSO, they got a lot of the code and reverse engineered it, like the servers and stuff, and that's why we're able to play PSO, at least on the GameCube, Blueburst, and Dreamcast version, because of the data that they were able to pull through streaming from Sega and then read that and translate it and recreate it. But I don't know, I don't know how, they're doing it with this, but I know another online series or not online series, but I loved Metal Gear Online. And the original MGO from Subsistence on the PS2, there are private servers that you can now play with, the original Subsistence. I know they have Metal Gear Solid 4. They've got MGO 2 where they can play as well. I haven't tried that, but I think you need an action replay on the PS2, but you can, or at least back then. But you could play now Metal Gear Online, and they did the same thing. They were able to reverse engineer somehow with the code, and able to create servers based on that. And I'm sure. Well, I don't want to say I'm sure, but I have a feeling that a lot of this will be the same with some of these other things. Some intrepid person out there is like, looking at all the code and figuring this network traffic out, and able to take all that, store it, and just kind of like, okay, in the future I'm gonna need this information.
Yeah.
This happened yesterday to me where I just got stuck in this loading screen.
Oh really?
Yeah. I had to like quit the game.
Yeah, City of Heroes and Star Wars Galaxy is another. And World of Warcraft has private servers as well. So, there's people who are able. Well, at least with PC, you're getting with those older games, you're actually getting the game. Blueburst was the same. They figured out, and that's why it's really easy, because you just take Blueburst, download the client, and then go to the website, get your hunter's license, and get right in the game. But I'm sure. I have a feeling that like maybe the PC version of PSO2 will probably be something that people will figure that out. I don't know about Xbox, maybe PlayStation. If people are still kind of hacking and looking into it like they did with the PS3, then there might be a way. But I don't know. That's way above my head.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna jump in and grab those rewards that I had sitting there, and then I'm gonna call it, I think.
Yeah, I guess it is getting late, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 9:30 right now.
Ooh, yeah, so late.
So I played. Looks like I
Poor
played
me in
8
the West
hours and
Coast.
10 minutes. That's
That's why it's the best coast.
So 8 hours, though. I mean, that's a good amount of time. That's more time I spent playing any game. And
Yeah.
Even more than Mario 3.
That is true.
Thank you very much.
I'm just happy because it's Phantasy Star Online, and we're finally getting it here in North America. Like after all these years, never
Yeah.
thought it was going to happen, and thankfully, Phil Spencer put maybe some foot to ass and kicked
That's
Sega
right.
in gear, and it strikes me Sega came out and said that they didn't have as profitable of a quarter as they had hoped, and it's like I wonder if this game was out already in North America, how much I really want to see the jump, like how much money Sega makes off this, and be like, see,
I would be very
told you
curious.
so.
Because in some ways I mean, being purely based on, cosmetic purchases for your character, as being their only revenue stream. I would be very curious because it's hard for me to visualize how profitable that will be. But the thing is, it does seem like obviously free to play games are very popular, and this game is clearly like a tier above your average free to play game because it wasn't made as a free game,
I will say this: I play Star Trek Online. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and that game is just riddled with loot boxes and customizing ships, or purchasing ships, and the game just is hitting its 10th anniversary, and you would think, oh, this MMO is dead. Oh, they release a new ship in that game, and they make so much money that like they just keep funding the game. Even though they have a skeleton crew, and it's the same with Star Wars: The Old Republic. They got a skeleton crew working on it, but they come out with some new armor sets and a mount, and people go in there and buy a ton of it, and it makes a ton of money.
And this game seems more polished than any of those.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I used to be a community contributor for the World of Warships. In Wargaming as a company, they release new tanks, new ships, new planes, and they go out there and they'll release a new battleship, and they will sell just millions of them. And it's crazy how much, when you think about that ship that they just released, they sold it for $60 bundled with a bunch of stuff. They made more money out of that than they would have ever done selling a game for $60 in the store, getting cut, from the middleman and everything else. It's just pure profit to them. And a lot of companies are realizing this. And I mean, it sucks because of the loot boxes and the microtransactions and everything, but it makes so much more money. And if you're not used to that, if you don't know that, then it can be a hard concept to understand. And just kind of being on the inside, especially from Wargaming's perspective, it's like they make bank. They release one ship and they make bank, and it's like they've got their game funded, and they just keep rolling out more ships and more, and all these companies are doing that too.
Wow.
And this is why I don't play MMOs much.
There you go. I figured out how to equip the mag. I didn't have it equipped.
Got your little Opa.
Yeah, I don't know when we're going to get the Dreamcast kit, but it will be an account unlocked. So every character that you make, you'll be able to have the Dreamcast following you around.
There has to be an Opa version of that. I'm sure there is.
There is. Well, in PSO there is.
Oh, okay.
I remember seeing it.
I'm sure they've got to have one here too.
And I do I very much understand the hate with the pay to win, but this game very much has said that all the microtransactions are cosmetic only. So I mean, I a lot of people that I know that have played for years on the Japanese servers haven't spent a dime. It spent no money at all and have gotten years of enjoyment out of the game. And there's nothing. You're not competing against someone else in a PvP fashion. So, the whole pay to win aspect in a game like this, I don't really see it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it will be very successful and have a good. I mean, it's. I think especially with the beginning of a new generation coming, and obviously the game's going to be playable there too. I think it feels like they're prepping this game to be around for a long time. So
yeah, it's one of the, I think, the #1 MMO in Japan. And if it's been going on this long, why not? I mean, we've still got
Final Fantasy 11 that came out in 2002.
Yep. And in Star Wars: The Old Republic, just as an example, everyone says that game's dead, but it's still crawling along. Disney, they keep talking about doing stuff with Revan and this and that, and what they're going to do with the game. The game keeps going along. Same with all these others because they keep making money. So obviously there's something there, and I feel this game, based on the track record and the track record of other dead, dying MMO games out there that keep going, there's no reason not to think, based on that observation, that this one, won't stay around for a while too.
All right. Does that about wrap it up?
I think that's going to wrap it up. Oh, well.
Every time Coury plays from his new house, we do late streams.
I know.
Well, this is a special one because it's Phantasy Star Online. I mean,
yeah,
exactly. Next time I play, it's going to be back.
It was a fun stream.
A little more normal. And once this comes out, then hopefully I'll see other people in the chat, like online with me.
Yeah.
There's Sonicu again. I don't know if Sonicu is in the chat or not. You might keep on seeing Sonicu. Anyways, well, thanks everybody who donated and everybody who hung out. It was a lot of fun. And look for that documentary, episode 1 this week. And yeah, I think that's gonna do it. Thanks, Blabler and Vanessa for playing, and Vanessa for carrying us through the original.
I'm just glad that you're getting use out of that broadband adapter, and it's not just sitting around.
Oh heck yeah! I would be playing more. I gotta pass the time till this full game comes out.
And I'm just glad to be carried away with you guys.
Anyways, we'll see you soon. Good night, everybody.
Bye. If anyone can see me waving in this tiny corner of the screen.